Good morning, good morning, good morning. I didn't know I was live. Hi, guys, and welcome to another edition of I.Am.She Podcast. It is a nice, rainy, gloomy Saturday morning here. Um, KD will not be here today. She's not feeling too good, so let's send out our best wishes to her in hopes that she gets well. Today we have a very interesting show. So come on in, tune in, get your coffee, get your tea, get your juice, get your whatever you like to drink in the morning. A mimosa if you got one of those. And come on and sit down and talk to us. It's gonna be a very, very interesting show. I'm trying to figure out why my computer not plugged up. But anyway, I hope everybody's enjoying their Saturday morning so far. I don't know when y'all got up, but for me, I got up an hour ago. Okay? I had a long night, a very long night, but I'm up and I'm here. And I am happy to be here on this good Saturday morning. Come on in and share your ideas, share your thoughts, share your passion about today. Y'all, I just moved and I'm looking out my window. I like my little seating area that I made up just like literally just now. And it's cars coming up and down the street, people walking. I just want to be nosy a little bit. But I'm here and I'm happy. It is Saturday. It's time to get some things off our chest, share some ideas, talk to each other. So if y'all are up, come on in, come on through. If y'all are up, come on in, come on through and share this great Saturday afternoon with me. Spend a little couple of hours with me. Spend 2 hours with me. Talk to me. I don't want to be on here by myself talking to myself looking crazy. So if you're on here, say hi. Say good morning. I hope all is well. How was you guys' week? Did you do anything interesting? Did you do anything fun? I want to hear about that, of course. I'm trying to get some things together right now, y'all. But
So are you completely moved in?
not completely because some of my stuff is still like in storage, but the stuff that's in there is like minor things. Nothing too big. I'm gonna get another TV, like other little stuff like a new couch, a new TV. I'm kind of going for like the soft girl aesthetic, that's so popular right now. I'm trying to be in my soft girl era, as they say. So that's what the look I'm going for, to be a soft girl. I told you I'm changing. Nate doesn't.
Mm,
Nate doesn't believe me when I say these things. I'm changing my life and
mm, mm.
I maneuver and do things. So, yeah, and I feel like part of that change is starting out fresh, starting out new, um, living a cleaner, healthier life. So even down to like my lifestyle and some of the choices that I make, I'm going to do better with those things. I'm going to do better with eating right. My building has a little small gym in it. Just I think like an elliptical, a couple of treadmills, and some weights. So that's a start. I'm right downtown, so I'm not far from the gyms. I think the closest gym might be Planet Fitness.
They
Planet,
is I used to. I mean, it's not that expensive compared to the rest of them,
it's not.
but the way they pop up with that fee, it
Mm-hmm.
used to be on a. It used to be at the end of the year you would get the annual fee,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's like a couple months or a month into you already
Mm-hmm.
doing it. Like I can't take all these.
That's how LA Fitness was. Me and my coworkers, a couple of old coworkers I had, we had decided to join LA Fitness together. And we got on this account and we were like doing it and we were going half on a bill. And I'm gonna tell you something about going half on a bill with a coworker, and especially when it's in their bank account. Baby, they won't hit you no other time. But when that money hit that account, I
Right.
need my coins.
Because they'll randomly, if it's not
Mm-hmm.
all in there, they'll randomly do it throughout that month. And that's I would rather go to a gym that has a high fee versus you getting people with this $10 or $20,
Exactly.
and it's not $10 to $20.
It's not $10 to $20.
First
It's
of
not.
all, and I mean, and that's still compared to the other gyms, it's not bad. Even the Y is more expensive than that, but just have simple fees to get out of your contract. You gotta email them, and they gotta
A
respond.
lot.
You can't just cancel it. Like I,
Um, that's how, and see, that's how LA Fitness is. LA Fitness does not hold you into a contract. So what
hmm
they do is they make you pay first month and last month. And then what I
okay, rent fees.
yeah, they make you pay first month and last month. And they make you so that way whenever you decide you want to leave or you want to just end it, you can just end it. That's how it
And
goes
see
down.
that seems I like that because uh Planet Fitness will continue to charge you every month.
Listen, I lied to you not. I one year I signed up for Planet Fitness, and this was like a few years ago. I signed up for Planet Fitness, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go to this gym. I'm gonna do this." I never went, and when I finally realized I was giving these people $20 a month for something
Yeah.
that I wasn't even using, and I was like,
$20 plus
"Oh."
fees.
And
Because it's
and you
not a
know what?
flat 20.
They won't reach out to you and be like, "Hey, we ain't seen you at the gym," or "Hey, we have." They won't do that. They will not reach out to you and be like, "Hey, we see that you have a membership with us, but you haven't came in." They not gonna reach out to you. They is not doing that. I was like, I had to learn that on my own because I was like, this is crazy.
hmm
I had to stop. I had to go up there and be like, look, I ain't even using y'all. Y'all taking this money out my account, and I ain't even being on here like that. I
Yeah,
gotta
but
stop.
you gotta contact them and
Mm-hmm.
wait for them to respond and then request it. I ain't got time for all that.
Ain't no
You basically have to send them a written request that you wanna cancel. Like I
Oh
need
no,
to just push a button.
I ain't
Stop
doing all
charging
that.
me.
Right. Go ahead and just stop charging me all together, please and thank you.
Right.
I ain't got time for that crap. And I said I had to stop um doing those things. Like I was doing that with LA Fitness after a while because once my contract with my job ended, me and my coworkers wasn't talking to each other like that. Like we wasn't hanging out like we used to.
Oh,
And we
y'all fake friends. That's so
that,
fake.
that's what I hate about relationships with coworkers. It be so fake. Like it
Yeah.
be so fake. It be so fake. Like y'all be cool one minute and then bam, let somebody get fired. Let somebody let somebody get fired. The whole
You
job.
can I see that you change floors and y'all not friends.
You change floors, y'all. You change departments because that happened to me. I had some coworkers that I was real, real cool with. We were so nice. We would hang out. The moment they made me switch departments, it was like, we don't talk.
Mm-mm.
I was like,
Right.
oh, fake.
Well, see, I'm a actor, so I've only done a little bit of extra work, but I mainly have done theater. And what happens is you're typically in rehearsals for like 2 months, no more than that probably. So
Mm-hmm.
in that time, you're with each other a couple times out of the week, and
Mm-hmm.
people develop friends. And I learned early these friendships are not always real. I've met my best friend in theater and a lot of my good college friends, you know, like friends that I still have that are really my good friends. But you'll
Mm-hmm.
make friends with somebody and y'all going out to eat after rehearsal and like what you doing? Somebody's birthday will pop up and you're like, I don't feel like hanging out with these damn
I don't
people.
feel like being with y'all. Yep.
I do not feel like it. But I have
That's
met
how
some good friends, but everybody those clique work friends or
oh my god, they be
sociable
the
friends,
worst.
they are
They be the
don't
worst.
count on it always.
They be the absolute worst because it's like and you see it because it's like it's very few because y'all end up being friends on social media and then you will see them like dang I don't see them hanging out with such and such no more. I don't see them being with such and such. I hate doing it. I think about I'm friends with a lot of people still on like social media that I used to work with, but as far as like a close relationship, I think I only have about maybe one person,
Mhm.
two people that from my old job that I'm really cool with.
You know
Like,
the thing is, I tend to make friends with the friends that I was friends with, and then I'm not
mhm.
friends with them no more. So I saw a stair step in friendships where the person I was initially friends with, now I'm friends with their friend. And
Now
that
you
is a
said
weird.
that's some weird shit. That is some weird shit. Like I had one relationship like that. Like we friends on social media, but we not
Right.
like in real life like that no more. And it's like I done been on trips with some of these people. Like we done been
Hmm.
out the state together.
Oh, you better
Like
watch out. That's what happens to the girl in Mexico. Man.
right, exactly. We done been out of state together. We done did all like even with my new job now. Like I love my job and I don't see me leaving no time soon. So
Hmm.
there's this taco and tax thing that's going on next month in Timonium. I'm all like, yeah, we should all go. We should all be,
Well,
come
I'm going. So you got somebody. I've already planned on go.
on, like, come on, y'all.
Tacos is my new thing.
We could tacos and honey. Let me tell you, tacos and margaritas are my thing. Well, tacos and tequila mostly, but that's my thing. I love me a little good taco. But there's this taco. You know about it. Are you? You say you going?
I
You got
already checked that off.
listen, and then they got the one ticket where it's like open bar. You it start at 12, and you
But
could
see,
do
you
this.
got to be so these festivals. So Baltimore, believe it or not, we have a lot of festivals. Like, there's a
We have a
wing festival. There's a
mhm.
burger festival. There's a
There's a
what
beer
was
and
it?
bourbon festival.
Yeah, yup.
We have oyster festival. We have
Oyster festivals.
yeah.
I used to
There's
work with a young lady. Actually, the what was it? The something oyster, and she
oyster.
did a lot of those festivals. So that's where I learned about all. When I say it is a trap, not necessarily
Mm-hmm.
financially, because you can get they have levels. So you
Mm-hmm.
don't
Yeah,
have normally you get the VIP because you want the little goodie bag
you want the
or
goodie
you
bag,
want the
you want the
bottle of
little taste.
wine and all that. But
Yeah.
it when I say your eyes will be so much bigger than your stomach, I gained so much weight working with her because we got tickets. When you get those tickets, you just
You just eat. You
you
just
be
go.
eating
You be eating. I remember. This was right
the
before the
crab festival.
Tamika said, are these friendships or associateship?" You right, you right. It's associateships. Yeah, that's what it is. It's associate, and I'm learning. Good morning. I'm learning to use that word very moderately, friend. And I tell
Yeah.
people all the time that is not your friend. That is your homie or your associate. That is somebody you associate yourself with. Like
Hmm.
I had this conversation with my ex before because it was like he was like, "Yeah, that's my homegirl," and I'm like, "I ain't never heard this girl in my life. Where this girl come from? Like that ain't no homegirl. That's somebody that you cool with. That's your friend. Like that's not your friend. That's your associate. Somebody you just met. That ain't no homegirl. Like everybody's
Hmm.
friend." And we tell our kids this, but even as adults, it's hard for us to grasp the fact that everybody is not your friend.
Well,
Even
I think children. I think it's difficult because children just don't have the experience. Often
mm-hmm,
as adults, I think we get to a space where like you gravitate because you all the stuff that we would go through as a child, like trying to get to know each other, we skip over all of that
mm-hmm.
and go right to let's hang out, let's be cool.
Let's go be cool. Let's be best of friends. No, baby,
Yeah.
let's let it go.
I'm leery of people who claim you as a best friend and y'all haven't had that conversation. And my friend think I'm weird for that.
Mm-hmm,
But
mm-hmm,
I have two people in my life that I would consider my best friend.
mm-hmm.
And it was unspoken, but beyond that, I've had people who claim me as a best friend, and I'm looking at them like, nigga, we don't
You
even,
don't even know me like
you
that.
don't even know me like that.
That's how I feel like. I feel like this. I feel like if you have a friend that you feel like is like that's your best friend, you gotta
Yeah,
know this person gotta be able to come to you and literally tell you anything and there will be no judgment.
and
You know,
there's
that's
levels
how I
to
feel.
it. It's
It's levels.
levels to that, I believe.
Listen, very much
But I
so.
think it's just people don't know how. Like it's possible. Like I said, when I'm in a play, I'm working on a play. It just happened. Like this play that I just finished. It's been the one that we've the most authentic. Like,
Mm.
and we just celebrated Troy's birthday, and it was three people in the group, and they all had their birthday party last Sunday, and it was really cool. Like I could see this is a genuine, group of people. But I've been on places where it's just people don't know how to be friends because
People don't know how
everybody
to
has all these rules and all these
all these hidden agendas.
right, all these expectations of what I need in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And you haven't communicated this with this group of people you just met.
Yeah.
And now we all friends, and then something happens where we go to Mexico and you kill me. Like,
You know what I find so crazy is that men friendships and women friendships are so totally
mm-hmm.
different. And it's
Yeah,
like men can
yeah,
meet somebody and they can click with them and they be like, yeah, that's a cool dude. That's my buddy. Or that's
yeah,
my yeah. Women, we gotta vet her. We gotta see why she looking like, why she gotta do this and why she.
yeah.
It's so weird how we
It's
are. How
hard. Well,
it's so
men
hard.
typically men like you or they don't like you.
Or they don't like
And
you.
if they don't like you, they'll never like you. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe eventually you may meet in a different way and it may, oh, you are a cool person. But
Mm-hmm.
women, I like you today. I don't like you
I don't like you
tomorrow. I
tomorrow.
like your shoes today. I don't like your hair tomorrow. Like
Mhm.
y'all, y'all, y'all
it's so
complicated.
weird. Like women are so weird, bro. Like it's so crazy how you can really look at a girl and be like, I mean, I let her go out in an outfit, and then you'll turn around and be like, look what she got on. She look a fucking mess. Like, why y'all do that? Like, why are we like this? Women are so I like having friendships with men. I like looking at real authentic men friendships. And I have at my job, I have a few people that I like and I talk to here and there. But I have one real authentic friend. We go to lunch every day with each other. We text and we talk, and it's like it's a
Hmm.
authentic relationship. It ain't no I'm looking at her sideways, she's looking at me sideways. It's really authentic, and I have not had that in a new person that come into my life in a very long time. And we share
Yeah.
personal things, we talk about personal things, and it's like I have not had a real authentic friend come into my life like that in a very long time. Like the friends that I have, which is very minimal and very few, and you the older that you get, you start to realize your
Mm.
friend circle dwindles. Like it goes down, and it's like I was saying that to myself the other day. Like, damn, I don't have no friends. I'm
Hmm.
always people, and I'm always meeting people, and I know people, but it's like, damn, I really don't have no friends. And it's
Well,
like,
it's not even that because I'm sure you could go through social media or go through your phone book
mm-hmm,
and somebody go respond, but it's the quality of those
what's the
relationships.
quality of
For
those relationships?
me,
Yeah.
it I've always had more women friends than I've had guy friends, and that's just the nature of being in the arts, and I think it's my temperament too. And
Mm-hmm,
guys will love you and be cool with you, but will
mm-hmm.
stay their ass all the way over there. They
That's
won't
what it is.
even
They will stay
attempt to
there.
make the connection unless they're cool. And I
But
was
you
having a conversation with a guy yesterday. I was on a podcast, and we were talking about that. Like, at some point, I began to want more guys around me, and
mm-hmm,
it's not
mm-hmm.
it really because I just was running into the same conflict with a lot of women because we overlap in understanding, but there's a lot of differences. And sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you run into the trap, especially like if women have guy friends or guys have girlfriends, you run into this where you say something in confidence or and they take it the wrong way or it seems like an attack on women. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
kept running into. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I think about time I got to like 35 or 34, I started wanting more male friendships. So I started cultivating the ones I already had and being open to ones that come across instead of like, being weird about it. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
That's
you are now in a space where because you're about 35, so now you're starting to see quality.
who
And
me?
it's not about just how
I'm
old are
35.
you?
I'm 37.
Oh, you're 37?
But
Because for
I
some
say
reason I thought you
35.
were 35.
I say 35.
But this is the time where you start looking for more quality.
Mm-hmm. I
And
look
you
for
don't
quality.
want to necessarily just have a group of people partying.
Mm-hmm.
Like my birthday last year, I could have invited so many more people, but I didn't want. if I'm working with you or I'm that's people I wanted around me, but I didn't want
Mhm.
just a bunch of people to say I had a whole gang of people. I'm getting too old for that.
I'm too old for that. That brings up another good little conversation to have is like, do you think what you saying that you have relationship with females? I'm grateful for
Hmm.
my strong girlfriend bonds. At the end of the day, no one is perfect. Great convo, guys. Thank you, Robin. Listen, great. I'm grateful for my very few strong female bonds. I'm so
Hmm.
grateful for those. I am so grateful for those women. But sometimes I be wanting a man perspective and a man's advice, but then I be feeling like
It get
women
complicated.
really have can women really have those relationships, those friendships with men without being a sexual relationship? And I know a lot. Listen, I know a lot of people in this one friendship circle where there are women and there are the men and they all come together, but it's very far and few in between that you're gonna see a woman having a genuine, authentic relationship with a man that is heterosexual
Outside of a group relationship.
outside of a group relationship, and that is heterosexual, and there's nothing sexual going on between
It's
them.
it's very possible. It's just and it feels weird to do it now. Like a friend that I have, nothing happened, but I saw a red flag. And I
Mm,
typically would ignore it and wait until it became a huge bomb of a problem. But I
mm,
spoke up and I said something in that moment. And it wasn't taken the wrong way. And it's just a maturity thing. But
mm,
it's very possible. But especially when you have relationships between men and women, or whatever you may identify as, when you start having those relationships, there has to be ground rules. There has to be a conversation. And I don't think you need to sit down and interview them on the first time, but as things approach or as you see stuff, have a
mm,
conversation about it because it will alleviate a lot of issues. I'm a slow burn. So sometimes people think I'm being funny acting, but I'm having to build trust in people because I've had a lot of not
yeah.
so good situations. And it's not anything to blame anybody, but there was no communication in terms of that hurt my feelings or when it happened, and not saving up issues for when the big issue come. And now
Mm,
we yelling and screaming and I don't feel heard and you feel attacked. And just when it comes up, say something. And I think it's very possible. I think when men and women, even women and women or men and men, there's a line that gets crossed sometimes where affection, we only identify affection as sexual.
asexual. Yep.
So sometimes those things that you may be feeling, it may be a reason behind it. Maybe I haven't had sex in a couple days, and oh, Nate started to look a little
Mm,
cute today,
mm,
or you never know how somebody may feel. I mean, they may have always seen you and just didn't know, and now they're comfortable with you, so now they can. But I think just ground rules, setting ground rules. And is it so bad that you fall in love with a friend?
it's not bad that you fall in love with a friend. It's just that you know what? No, it's nothing bad about that because that person knows you more than anything, and
Mm-hmm.
that person will know what you like and what you don't like. That person will know how you feel. That person will know your temper. That person would know your patience level. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That person will really know you in and out. And I don't think there's nothing wrong with falling in love with a friend. I don't. I
But
don't.
we say, but we have to understand that there's varying degrees of affection. Like
Hmm.
I'm not a touchy feely person, so that's kind of like a boundary for me. But I have other friends that are really touchy feely. My best friend Jana is very touchy feely, and I'll be like, Jana, like I had to just say, like, this not working for me.
Her name
It
is
feels
Jan.
real boyfriend girlfriend, and we are friends, and it feels weird. But I communicated that.
But see, I like being like that with my let me say with my gay male friends. I like being touchy feely with them. I
But
like
you
being
still have to see that that's
like
a male though. That's still a male.
I still see that that's a male, but in my mind and in my thought, it's like he don't like me like that. He don't care. Like you
But you
know.
don't. But see, but that's a whole nother conversation that I think y'all need to have on this show. But that's a misconception because and that's why when we see the word affection, we only see it as black and white. So you
Right.
have to understand that
Mhm.
just because someone prefers something doesn't mean that they haven't told you about the other stuff. And
Mm.
you sometimes you have to have, like, I'm very rarely, and I can say maybe two friends I've ever talked about sex with, because it's just not something that I was, and our parents, they didn't talk about stuff like that. So it's
Yeah.
just weird me talking about it. But I know people who, they got dick sucking songs, like, because that's what they do for a living.
That's what
Like,
they do for a
that's,
living.
they love to do that, and they comfortable. And I've never felt jealous, but I've always wished I could be that open. But
Really?
everybody has different varying degrees of comfort levels, and yeah.
Not you
So
would think about
don't
right
think
now.
all your gay friends don't want you or wouldn't be attracted to you. Just
Listen.
know
I have
that.
this one good friend, and I always tell him all the time, he is my soulmate. And I was just like, if you was into women, we would be
All right,
perfect.
when he catch you slipping one day, you gonna see how
Mhm.
soul that meat
He
is.
let, he let you know real quick. I ain't into fish. I don't like it. I don't even eat it. He'll let you know
But
so
see, that's him communicating with you. Sometimes people don't
like,
always communicate.
I don't eat it. I don't. I'm good. He like, Crystal, I could never. And I didn't even know he was gay. And I always had that. Like when we first met at the job that I was talking about at Easy Pass, and we were in the same training class together. And I'm like, this guy is so nice. And even on our first day of training, he was like, "You want to go to lunch with me?" I'm like, "Yeah, we can go to lunch together." And we just was like two peas in a pod ever since then. And it was just like, he was so perfect. He used to call me and be like, "Crystal, meet me at the gas station. I'm gonna put gas in your car." Like he would do those kind of things, those kind of sweet things. He was
Hmm.
so nice. He was such
But
he
that's a form of affection, though.
exactly.
That was his love language. He
Yeah.
liked to do things. Me, on the other hand, I might buy you a burger. I don't know if I put gas in your tank if you need it, but
He
I'll
used
buy
to
you a
fill up
burger.
my tank, and he would just do so many nice things to me. He was just so he is. I'm gonna say he was because he's still here. He is such
Hmm.
a sweet guy, and I love him to death. I love Kevin so much, and I tell him all the time, we are meant to be together. We are soulmates. I don't care. We soulmates.
But is that because of what he can do for you,
No,
or?
because of how the conversations that we had.
Hmm.
We've cried with each other. We've done a lot of things. We've gotten so deep and in depth of our like lives and everything that we've been through and everything that we go through. Like we talked about some real uncomfortable things with each other and that share that part of our lives that we would never tell anybody. Like, and then I don't mean it like in a bad way, but I mean it like in a this is what happened to me, or this is where I come from type situation. Like it's things about his mom and his dad that he's never told any of his friends that he's told me. It's things about my life that I've never told anybody that I've told him.
Hmm.
That's it. And it was never any judgment. It was never any, oh girl, you are
Yeah.
messed up for me. It was never that. It was never a time where I've heard, and I'm even friends with like you said, I'm friends with one of his family members. Like it's just that deep. Like we're just that deep in each other's lives, and it's never a case of one of those things where I've told him something or he told me something and it got back to each other. You get what I'm saying?
Hmm. It's those types of, and just imagine if you could be that way with a man that you were romantically
That's what I was about to say.
in
I
love with.
just imagine
Like,
like what it
we
would be
give space to people who we don't see as a
like.
threat. And the
Mhm.
people who are closest to us, whether they romantic, platonic, family, we don't give them that same grace. But
No.
because there's no, like, I think for you, maybe, well, I'm not gonna speak for you, but what I've seen in a lot of women who may have a gay or bisexual or trans friend, like, I don't have to worry about being vulnerable. So I could
Mhm.
give this person that space. But often we don't, it's a weird thing. But
I just
what if
know
you
what
were able to give every man that space to
exactly.
be that vulnerable?
Exactly. That's what I was kind of trying to say. Like I just wish that I could have those type of relationships that I have with my gay male friends. I wish I could have that type of relationship with a heterosexual man. I wish that I
Why
could
can't
have
you?
those, because most of the times, and it may be I don't want to say cliche to say, but some of the times being friends with some of these men, they don't want to be your friend. They looking to have sex with you. They
Mm,
yeah. And it's like
mm,
it's kind of hard finding male
yeah.
friends in today's society. It's nowhere you can go to be like, if these people weren't your friends when you grew up with them, you cannot, as a grown 37-year-old woman, I cannot go out here and meet a man on the street and be like, hey, I just really want to be your friend. I just really want to be cool with you. Somebody I can go out to lunch with every now and again. Somebody I can have brunch with, without it being at some level, at some point, a sexual thing. Whether it's
Well,
from
that's
him or
because you
me.
trying to define it. Like if you just let stuff be, you
You can
didn't say, "Hey, let's be friends." With your friends, you just let it happen. You just
I
let it.
mean, yeah, you just let it happen, but at the same time, it's different when it's a heterosexual male. Like, I don't know, I just feel like it's different because you can just of course it's easy with a female, because if you're not gay, I'm not gay, we just being cool, then that's something different. But I feel like with being friends with a heterosexual male is
Right.
sometimes impossible. Sometimes it could be very well possible.
Well,
But like
I'll
I
tell
said,
you
with
what.
this
I'll tell
guy,
you a secret.
okay,
Communicate.
communicate.
Don't look to label anything or
Mhm.
define it. Just be, but communicate. If a guy seems like he's attracted to you, say, "Hey, no, I'm just looking for a friend." That's you giving
But
him
see, we have
the
changed the definition of
opportunity.
friend so much in life right now, because
Yeah,
we have heterosexual men and heterosexual women have changed the dynamic of friendship between the two, because everybody's looking for a friend.
that's
Nobody's
everybody though. That's every
sure,
most,
but
and I'm not saying most, and a lot of, if you see a lot of gay and lesbian friendships, if you go
hmm
dig down into those friendships, they dated at some point
right.
and they realized it did not work, and let's we better off as friends. And those people sometimes call each other brother and sister, which is eerie,
Weird
but
to me. It's
it's the
weird to me.
idea of don't label anything. And if
Yeah.
somebody is crossing a line, they don't know they're crossing a line.
hmm
Define it. Let them know without, and don't go into a first encounter like, look, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like that. One of the best
Right.
pieces of advice I've had from my mother when I was going to college, she said to me, she said, when you meet people, she said, don't give them your bill of rights. See what
hmm
their interests are, see what their quirks are, and then you know how to adjust. Because I might not even need to say this, because they may be already on that, or that may be something that's not even in their mind to think about. But
hmm
sometimes I think we try to with anybody we're attracted to, we try to define stuff right off the bat. You start feeling it, and I want to call you my boyfriend or my girlfriend, and don't that
That
just
part. That
ruins the and you at some point, if you 7 years into that same feeling and ain't nothing been defined, that's a problem.
that's a problem.
But at some point, especially when you start looking at these black men, you have to understand a lot of us were never given a space to really feel anything
hmm
outside of happiness or anger,
Oh
maybe
wow.
jealousy. Those were the
Maybe
only
jealousy.
feelings that we were ever open or allowed to have. So you're dealing with someone who has to build trust for you. A man has to see the potential in you. And if you asking him for stuff and trying to define things and trying to restrict things and control, he already turned off,
He's
unless that's something
automatically
he's
turned
lacking
on.
in his life. So
hmm
now you his mother or his grandmother, or like that's what you become in his life now. But just let stuff be.
It's,
And a
it's
guy
it,
will eventually
it
open up to
sounds
you.
easy. It sounds good, but it's hard to achieve in today's
It's hard
society.
to be patient.
Mm,
Because
we're
the
gonna
guy, I mean, the
we're gonna
same
agree to
thing for you.
disagree on
You're
that.
not telling that guy everything about you. You're
Yeah,
waiting
no,
for the feeling to happen. You're waiting for it to feel mutual. And a guy is very complicated in that way. He's waiting for you to show him and for him to feel like he can have, like, the best thing you can do for a guy is not necessarily be a cheerleader, but to be supportive.
Mm-hmm.
And that encouragement is something that guys don't typically get unless they like the sexiest man in the world, or they the toxic guy. That's when you give them support. Or they behind bars. That's when you give them the support. By that time it's too late. And I'm not saying that's your job as women or people who like men, but you have to sometimes give men that space to grow with you and not always giving them the side eye, because they doing the same thing to you. They
Right.
looking at your, how do you treat people? How do you talk about people? Are you asking me for stuff and don't even know me? Are you getting too comfortable? Are you like, guys are really fickle. A guy will lay down with you and regret it right after the fact.
And regret it right after the fact.
And you said, well, what happened? Like, what the hell? Well, that wasn't somebody he wanted. And is that fair? No, it's not. It's not fair. Because he should have communicated that's not what he wanted. But you've done that and be like, I ain't gonna really talk to him no more because But it's
I ain't
just,
gonna talk to
but
him.
just treat the relationship. I go after people I'm romantically interested in the same way I go at friendships now, and I'm learning all that in this moment. But I look for the same things. Is this somebody I can talk to? If we do have sex, can I talk to this person afterwards? While we just laying on the bed, is that somebody I can talk to? And if that's a
Mm-hmm.
no for friendships, if we go through a tough time, is this somebody I could in the same? My best friend, I I crashed her car, and right after that, it wasn't. I didn't. She had an issue with her neutral. Her car was slipping to neutral, so I was braking, not realizing the car was in neutral, and ran right in the back of a U-Haul, and them U-Hauls got that thick
That thing in it.
bumper,
Mm-hmm.
and the car wasn't like total or anything, but you could tell she was mad, you could tell she was frustrated, but she was like, "You want to go get some ice cream, Nate?" Yeah. And not because she ignored it, but because of how she reacted to me. It wasn't like we're not friends no more. It was like, oh, we gonna talk about this, but right now, let's just go get some ice cream. And
Let's
I
go get
knew that
some.
was a friend of mine because of how she reacted. It wasn't like we just now we've had some knockdown fights. Like we're not talking right now, but I can still, if we still see each
I
other, it's
can
not
I
gonna
can
be
imagine not being
funny.
able to not talk to my best friend. I can't imagine that. Like,
Well,
see,
sometimes things happen.
Me and KD are best friends. Like, we're best friends too. And I don't talk to her every day. I
Mhm.
I don't talk to her every single day. I
Right,
don't, some when she called me the other day, I'm like, what the hell she calling me for?
right. But see that happens as you get older, and she got responsibilities now. She got so sometimes, and
Like, what
that
the
was
hell
my
she calling
difficulty with having a lot of women as friends, because
me? Mm-hmm.
when they started having babies, it was like they didn't have the time that they had, or they would get a man. We got to talk about that type of show one time, because there's a difference for me. But they would get a man and they be into that man, and that man and me may not like each other, and so that's less time you go see with that person.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, times change and ebbs and flows happen. You just can't allow that to go on for months and years.
Yeah.
You gotta be able to sacrifice.
I like the relationship that me and my other best friend Sharon have. It's not like oh, you gotta call me every day type thing. We talk every day, but it's like I don't get mad if she don't call me. She don't get mad if I don't call her.
But
Even when
that's
we were
real
living
friendship, though.
together, even when we were living together, it was like, you know, I might say good morning, she might not say good morning. It might be
Yeah.
one type of situations, and I like those relationships, even with Tamika. I don't talk to Tamika every day, but when she called me, it's just like I just talked to her yesterday. It's just that I like those type of relationships. I don't have to call you every single day. And I had a friend like that where it was like, oh, you ain't called me today. You ain't called me yesterday. What's your problem? And I realized that girl was not my friend. But
But
it's
those be warning signs. And
those be warning signs, and my dumb ass did not see it. I'm just gonna be honest with y'all right now. I did not see those signs. I
well,
did not
how
see
could
it.
you? Because you were really a
I
friend
think
to
my
her.
girl
So
was
it
my
wasn't like,
friend.
we can't deny a friendship because somebody ended up not being a perfect match for us. And that's just how I look at it now. I don't, it used to, like, a lot of my friends started having babies at the same time, or they'll be like this year and then that, and then, but I used to take it personal, like, oh, you can't hang out with me no more, or I'll see them on social media with their work friends,
Mm-hmm.
and I used to feel some kind of way. But then I realized we don't work at the same job. We're not on the same time schedule. I'm the crazy artist, and they have responsibilities that I don't have, so I can't be upset. I know how I am when I'm deep in a relationship. You don't see me. Like,
You
I
don't
don't
see
talk to people. But you have to balance that out sometimes with,
we have to.
understanding. Or just communicate. Tell your friend what you feel.
It be hard sometimes because, like I
Why?
said, everybody be having different agendas. Everybody be having different agendas,
But
and it's some people don't be
you don't know the
understanding.
agenda until you, like, oh, you
Some
in this
people
because,
Some people
I pay for
genuinely don't be
drinks when we
understanding,
go
like,
out.
life gets the best of us sometimes. A lot of
Yeah.
people genuinely don't understand that. A lot of people genuinely like, but you're my friend. You're supposed to be there. You're my friend. You're my
But see,
friend.
you saw signs of that at some point, and you
Mm-hmm.
didn't communicate. It didn't
And I did
affect
not
you, or you
communicate.
saw them doing that to somebody else and thought it would never happen to you. And
Yep.
that's where you get yourself in a jam, because when you see something, say something, and not
Mm-hmm.
like I'm putting you under the microscope every time. But hey, I saw how you treated that girl, or you said something to me that made me uncomfortable. Say it.
Say
And I
it.
would rather lose you as a friend than to be 30 years into something and realize you were never my friend this whole time. And
That'd be
that's just sometimes
that'd
you
be the
gotta
worst feeling. Like
gamble at.
that's the worst feeling. Like to be friends with somebody and then finally learn that they wasn't really your friend. Like I learned this girl wasn't my friend. It took a relationship that I had with and that's another thing that's so weird about women. We have this rule of thumb, like if I used to mess with him in the first grade and now we are 60 years old, you can't date him because I dated him in the first grade. And that's
I didn't
kind of
even know you in the first grade.
that's
And
really kind of how it is. It's like, oh, I used to date him back in 2010 and now it's 2023. You can't talk to him because me and him talked for 3 days back in 2010. So you
when
can't
I
talk.
see women like that, in the back of my mind, you still fucking him.
And in the back of my mind, you mad, and that's what really, At the end of the day, I had said something to her about liking having a relationship with this guy, and then another guy had came along who had professed his like for me, and I was like, yeah, but that was one of my friends, like old boyfriends. She was like, well, take her man like you took my man, and I'm like, took
Did
your
you know they
man.
dated?
I know that they dated in the fifth grade, and I know that they had some type of sexual encounter years ago, like when they were adults. But they after that they had just realized that they were just better off as best friends. We were better off as friends than we are in a relationship because we don't want to mess up
I
our
don't
relationship.
believe that when women say that. I believe I'm gonna put you into
I
this
believed her. I
category.
really believed her. And then it was like when I realized, like, okay, y'all had not had anything in 10 years. Y'all had not done anything in 10 years. And here we are today. And you like, oh yeah, that's my man. My man. I'm like, how that's your man, girl? You was telling me he your best friend. And you got a whole boyfriend. Oh, he's my
Yeah.
best friend. And you got a whole boyfriend. You had a whole baby on the way with this man. And it was like, oh, he my man. He your man. Like he didn't even come to your baby shower. He's supposed to be your best friend. He's supposed to be your ace boon coon. But now you talking about he your man. I looked at her like he your what? Your man. I was like,
But that's why I said I don't believe it when I because you if it did, like, if you dated somebody that I talked to, if I'm not talking to that person, I
I
don't
don't give a
care.
damn. I don't care. I
Now,
don't
would I do it? No, I that's gross to me. I don't like sharing nobody. But
at the
at
end
the
of the day,
same time, when I hear women say stuff
this is
like that,
what
like that was, oh, so you gonna date him,
this is what I
baby
don't
girl?
understand
Like, are
about
y'all still
couples.
together?
Baltimore is so small.
So
Baltimore is
small.
so small. You're gonna end up fucking somebody or dating somebody that your friend, cousin, or whoever done dated already. But if
Hmm.
I feel like this, as long as it's not one of them relationships where y'all were in it for a very long time, and then here y'all all 5 years down the line, and boom, this person is now messing with this person. If you and him, this is how I feel about this. Like, okay, that's like with me and Gerard. Me and Gerard have been
Well,
together.
she naming names, y'all.
Y'all know he be on the show every week. Me and Gerard been together for off and on for about 15 years. We did it for about 15 years off and on. I feel like this.
That was your 911. I call them 911 relationship.
He still is. But I feel like this. If one of my homegirls was to go try to date Gerard, knowing what me and Gerard used to be, I'm gonna look at her like, damn girl, when you want to do that? You know, especially if it's a really close friend of mine. That's like my best friend going to go try to have a relationship with Gerard now. Like what? Like, girl, where'd that come from? But if it's somebody that you was just fucking for 5 years and or for 3 years and y'all never had a relationship, I never met this person, and me and you now cool, and now all of a sudden he want to talk to me. I'm not supposed to talk to him because he talked to you. Like, I don't know. You
I mean, for me, a lot of those
gotta,
rules don't make sense. I could see if she was your
I'm gonna get
bridesmaid.
a lot of flack for that. I'm gonna get a lot of flack for that.
I can see it, but I agree with you. But I can see if that was your bridesmaid or
Exactly. That's what I'm
your
saying.
next door neighbor
I can see
or
if
your
that was
babysitter.
your
That's
child's
when the rules
godmother.
kick in. But
You know, yeah. I can see if
you
he's
don't know how,
you
and I've
know.
had situations like that where I didn't know that one of my friends talked to somebody, and I wound up meeting them, and we talked, and it just, you don't ever know how scenarios happen. Like I said, if that was your sister or your bridesmaid or your babysitter, I get it. I get you feeling some kind of way, but even then, you're not in control unless you trying to double back or that's your sneaky link. That's the
Mm-hmm.
only way I see you catching a feeling.
That's the only way I see you catching a feeling is if you
And
trying to.
even then, that's personal. Keep that to yourself.
Even then,
Keep that to
but here's
yourself.
my
Like,
thing.
don't
If
even.
it's somebody that you used to talk to back in 2008 and it is now 2023, girl, don't be come talk to me about, well, I used to talk to him. Well, okay, what you want me to do about it? What you want me to say? We talked for 3 days or we talked for a month and he ain't never take me out. He ain't never do this.
But
He ain't
that's
never do
all those rules I was talking about.
this.
All
All
these friendship
those
rules that
exactly.
we
That's
have.
all
That's
these
just made
made
up.
rules. Exactly. Those made up rules that we have subsequently boxed our friends into, because if you know she want to be in a good relationship and she's looking for something meaningful, and this man over here, he done changed his life and now he's a good person and he want to go talk to her, why are you mad at that? Because y'all was dating back in 2004 and now it's 2022 and you mad because he want to talk to her and y'all only fucked in 2004 or 1999.
The only rule, and this is something that I've
Men don't have
recently,
those same rules. Men
the
do not
only
have
rule that like I said recently, that I've decided to adhere to, if you and I are cool and you out of the blue become friends with somebody I'm not cool with, and for me not to be cool with somebody is something not so good. I
right,
don't,
exactly.
any other time I'm gonna be cordial to people. Most times you don't even know if I don't like you.
Mm-hmm.
But I I cannot trust being friends with someone who then made a connection with somebody that's did me wrong.
That did me wrong.
Specifically somebody who did me wrong. Anything else I don't care. But if somebody did me wrong, and I'm not telling you who you can be friends with, I just
Right.
can't be friends with you because that's a conflict of interest to me. And
That
that's
was
just something
definitely
that's I think that's the only thing though.
that was
And don't
definitely
sleep
one of
with
my
somebody
biggest
I'm
pet peeves.
currently in a
In my
relationship
last
with.
relationship, that was my biggest pet peeve. The same girl that I was talking about, like, you
Hmm.
know, her were best friends, quote unquote best friends, but it was like I said, you didn't show up to her baby shower when she had a baby. You wasn't even invited. You know, it's little subtle things that I was around for that you wasn't even nowhere around for, but you yet that's your best friend. And then it was also,
Hmm.
once we got together and she knew we were together, you knew I don't fuck with her no more because of, it's not subsequently because of you. You was just the icing on the cake. You were just the person to pull the wool from over my eyes to see, like, hey, yeah, this girl is not your friend. And it was like, I don't ever want him to think that he broke us up or broke our friendship up. No, you did me a favor by showing me or helping me realize that this girl wasn't my friend. And I say that to say he was still talking to her. He was still being friends with her, even after knowing me and her wasn't friends no more. And it was like, I felt some type of way because I felt like you don't need to be talking to this bitch. But then it was like, now I call him. I'd be like, oh, well, we'll say little joking things like, oh, you talk to your friend, or he'll be like, yeah, I ain't talked to her in months. She don't call my phone no more. I'm like, yeah, because me and you not together no more. Now she don't need no information. She happy now. She got what she really wanted at the end of the day. She wanted us to break up, and that's what we did. But I say that to say, like, I don't like you said, I don't like when people be friends with people that I'm not friends with. And especially if you know that person done something to me, or especially if you know that that person, like, wronged me in some way, or we just stopped
Hmm.
talking because of some bullshit. Like, yeah. Mm-mm.
Yeah, and I that's not even a solid rule. It has to be something that somebody really tried to, go after me
Harm
or
me.
do something
Mm-hmm.
harmful to me. And it's just I'm realizing that I'm big on the word expectation because I don't
Mm-hmm.
like the word expectation. I really focus on it a lot because I can't expect for you to think like I think, behave like I behave, treat me like I'm treated. I don't go into anything with expectations anymore because
Yeah.
it's very harmful because often we don't even express those expectations to other people.
Right.
So when
Exactly.
it happens, it becomes an issue. But why is it an issue if I never knew that that was a problem for you or that was a conflict for you?
Exactly.
But I think people have to really relearn how to be friends, and part of that is dealing with the things that are going wrong with you. Like if you got
Mm-hmm.
triggers and traumas, you cannot be friends with people with these hidden, like you said, agendas or
These hidden,
traumas or struggles that you haven't expressed to a
y'all,
friend.
and
I have friends who
even
I
as
know have
women,
gone through certain things, so I
yeah,
don't talk about certain things. I don't bring it up. I don't, but again, at some point I'm gonna say, hey, you're restricting me at this point.
exactly,
Because
exactly,
if I'm happy about something or I'm not happy about something, I can't not say it around you because it affects you. We have to figure out how to
exactly,
communicate where I can be
exactly.
freely expressive and you can be, and we're not catching feelings based off of what I feel or what you feel.
I think that, women, as women, we need to stop building friendships off of trauma bonds, because we do that.
Mm.
We say that with relationships, but we do that with friendships too. We do that with friendships too. We build friendships off of trauma bonds, and it's like, girl,
Hmm.
everybody is not your friend because both of y'all got molested at 3, or both of y'all got molested at 8, whatever, by somebody that y'all know. That's not your friend, girl. That is not your friend.
Now, I'll say this for that reason. I agree with you, but often we do not give men, women, animals, cockroaches the space to be able to deal with it. We don't check
Ain't no
people.
cockroach
We don't
cockroaches.
communicate with people. So people are walking around with this stuff wrong with them. I don't want you to talk about it on social media. I don't want them bad
Mhm.
vibes around me. So people are living with them because, to tell you another little secret, there are men groups on social media where, like, if you a divorced man with children, or if there's a group, there's a lot of groups on Facebook. It's a
Okay,
group where if you had been raising a child thinking it was yours, and you realize it wasn't. There's a men, and men have those
you
types
see,
of
men
groups
use
too.
those groups to vent and to feel like it's a safe space. They
Right.
don't use they don't use those groups to be like, yeah, bro, we should go hang out and be best friends.
Women are
Versus
more
men.
outside with it, and men go to
Hmm.
groups like that.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't realize that until I came across a couple friends who were in those groups, and I would be looking at it with them and like, this is deep.
I
Like if
wish I could
these,
get
but
into
the
that.
trauma bonding part, when you just have you ever had a friendship where every time y'all got on the phone or was around each other, y'all
It
was
was a
complaining about
song.
something that
Yep,
y'all both had went through?
yep.
And it gets to the point where you avoid the conversation because you
Hmm.
don't want. Well, so that's when it becomes a problem, when you're not
Every
thinking
time
of
they
any
call you, it's
solutions.
something going on. It's always something. It's
Right.
always something. It ain't never no girl. Yeah, I had a really good day today, or I had fun. It's always let me tell you how, or bitch, how about this? It's always that. It's never no girl. I just wanted to say hey, just see how your day was going. And yeah, no, mm-mm.
But I am learning to communicate that.
Yeah.
I'm learning to the first breakthrough I had with that is when my mother would call me, she would run me down everything that was going on with family members. And I remember
Mm-hmm.
one day I said, "Ma, I don't feel like hearing that."
Oh, I tell my
And
mother
I
that all the
felt
time.
like I felt like she was going to snatch me through the phone, but but the other side, it felt so freeing because there were so many times my
I'm
mother would call me and I
tired.
would put that thing on speakerphone and sit that phone down, and all you would hear was, oh, okay, oh wow,
That's what you know what
oh,
I'm learning to do that with my mom. And what's so funny is I was trying to do this experiment that my psych teacher had did with her mother. She told us about an experiment she did with her mom when
come
she
on,
went to
college educated.
when she went to college. She started putting her mother on a program to only call her on Thursdays at 12 o'clock, because she stopped answering her mother phone calls, and she stopped, calling her mother, but only on Thursdays at 12 o'clock. They would talk for like 20 to 30 minutes. And then that
Hmm.
would be it. And she said, I did it as an experiment to see how can you can program people to really only call you when it's something, or outside of that schedule, call you when it's something very, very, very important. And I'm trying to do that with my mother, but this is so fucking difficult. And I'm trying to get her out of the habit of calling me talking about where you at. And I'll be like, "What you need? What's wrong?" And she's getting that now. Like yesterday, prime example. I'm in an Uber. Where you at? I said, "What's wrong? What you need?" Oh, nothing. Exactly. Why? I'm trying to get her out of that habit of calling me, asking me where am I at, girl. Why? Why do you want to
Well,
know?
you a child.
No, it's deeper than that.
I could see
Let me
if
tell
she
you
was
something. With my
asking you
mother,
that and
let
she
me
had
tell
a
you.
hidden agenda. Like
Listen.
I need $10.
No, no. With my mother, it's never because I'm her child. It's always because she's trying to be fucking nosy. That's it. It's no point blank.
Well,
It's no,
I'm sorry,
no,
mother. That's the same thing to us
no,
children.
fucking nosy. It's not
That's the
about
same
she
thing.
genuinely care. It's either she trying to be nosy, and then she gonna want to have something to say. And I'm not
Mhm.
saying it as that's just what a mother does. No, that bitch is nosy. And like,
I'm
but
just saying I've experienced that with mothers.
I can't
And
stand it.
sometimes because it's so unaddressed, it starts to get on your nerves. So that's
Mm-hmm.
something that gets on your nerves. Say, hey, mom, like, can you come up with another opener? Like, but I learned
Mm-mm.
when I first said that to my mother. Now it didn't change things, but it got to the point where when I would say it, she would be like, "Okay, well, I gotta go." Oh, okay. Well, I'll see you next time. But it just it gave me a freedom to be able to say,
I don't want to hear
I
that
don't
shit.
want to hear that. Or like I'm going through something right now. You ain't asked me how I'm feeling or what I'm going through.
Uh-huh.
You went straight to somebody else's
Straight to doing
needs
somebody
who's
else's
not
business.
even on this phone call.
Who I don't even give a damn about. She do that all the time
Right.
too. She called
Right.
me like
And
she called me the other day.
I
Oh,
felt
you know your
it feels
cousin?
disrespectful to be, especially if you saying that to your mother.
Exactly.
But
Listen,
eventually you'll
no,
get to
that's
a space where
bullshit.
you are
I
open.
didn't. Look, she did it to me the other day. She called me like, your cousin OD. I don't give a fuck, that bitch on drugs. What the fuck that got to do with me? And I told her,
Wow.
what's
Wow.
that? And then no, what really took the cake was, oh, we gotta help her with her baby. Who the fuck is we? And I said, who the fuck is we? We ain't helping her with no kids. No, we not. That ain't my problem. That she can't find nobody to keep her baby, and she needs
Now,
somebody.
can you think of a better way of saying that?
No,
I can.
no, it's no better
Because
way.
so the one thing that I'm learning also is not it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And eventually, when you first start doing it, it's gonna feel real harsh. But after losing a few people, you're like, okay, maybe I need to just change how I say it. So it's a tool and not a weapon. That freedom that you have now to communicate with her, now we need to turn that into a tool, because that's where she begins to learn lessons. So if my mom would say something like that to me, and I would say, "Ma, you need to focus on you right now. You
No.
don't have the time or the resources right now to be helped. You got to make sure you good." And
See, my
that
mom,
when I started
see,
doing
you
that, I
gotta understand the
realized,
dynamic of the relationship between me and my mom.
yeah,
And I tell a lot of people that, like, you gotta, if I had a more softer, kinder, understanding mother, then I would
we got black
definitely.
mothers. That's not a thing in black motherhood. It's not. I mean, I'm not being disrespectful
I
to
would like
women.
to
It's
think that
not
I would like to think that I'm a kind, soft mother. I would like
until
to
you
think,
one on one with your child.
he'll tell me like, "Ma."
See, but I don't think y'all, and honestly, I don't think y'all see it that way. I think you are, even the most non-nurturing of parents, it's there's still a parental click in you. And
Yeah,
it what some may be thinking is strong love may be nurturing to some
maybe
people.
nurturing
And it
person.
just I don't think y'all see it sometimes. Especially once we become adults and y'all still doing it. Mm.
I'm gonna just say this. I had watched this TikTok where this lady had said, this guy got on the he actually got this guy got on the Breakfast Club and was saying it's okay to sometimes let your child be disrespectful. So this lady was like, I'm raising an asshole. And I had to think about it. I'm not raising an asshole. However, I raised my son to be very opinionated, to state how he feel, to say if you don't think something is right, you say that. And my mom thinks, oh, he disrespectful. And I'd be like, no, he gonna question you. It don't make fucking sense. And
Hmm.
sometimes, and now I had to realize it the other day when we were doing something with the cable. I had just got internet. And he was like, "Mom, what the hell you doing? Like, damn, you acting crazy." And I'm looking at him like,
But you taught him how to do that. And
well,
to a
I had to
person who
realize
wants
he
control,
checked me.
that may be seem like an asshole.
I'm like, oh, he checking me. No, the fuck he. And I couldn't get mad because Crystal, what are you doing? You're not using your head. And I had to think about it like, damn, you ain't had to say all that. But I raised him to be, say how you
Hmm.
feel. Don't ever, and I was not raised in that type of household. I was raised to be fearful. I was
Yeah.
raised to be fearful of my elders, of my adult people in my life. I was raised to fear them, not to
Hmm.
respect them. And that's something totally different that we have to realize in a black household. Being respectful and being fearful of your parents is two different things.
Two very
Two
different
different
things.
things. And as black parents, some of us do not understand that. Some of them, and even now, even with like some of my older uncles and my some of my uncles and my aunts, they don't understand that. I don't even fear you. I respect you now, but the fear is no longer there. Like, they raised us with fear in our hearts. Like, no, there's two different things. There's two different things to be respectful and to be fearful of your parents.
Yeah.
Two different things.
I see that dynamic now with my family, and it makes it difficult for me because I know it's gonna be a challenge. Like
Mm-hmm.
my mother's siblings, I have those her younger siblings are closer to my age than she is.
Mm-hmm.
And so I grew up with them almost feeling like siblings and not necessarily uncles and aunts. Like I don't even call them, or I call them uncle and aunt now, but that's because I had to set a boundary. We're not
Mm-hmm.
siblings. And that
We're
when I do that to them, they look at me weird because we've always had sibling relationships. But
mm-hmm.
I had to start saying on this on that because it's a different dynamic. Like my mother's cousins, I still call them aunt and uncle because it's we're not the same. We're in two different age groups. And I wouldn't want like my cousins, my second cousins call my mother by her first name. And that always annoyed me because I always give respect to their mother or their father. And it's just I had to learn how to not take that personally because but that was a boundary I needed because I had uncles and aunts who treated me like the little brother. So my we were actually in competition with my mother versus That's my sister. That's always gonna be my sister, but that's your mother.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
those lines were crossed often, and for me to set boundaries. But we, I don't know where we are missing a lot of these traditions where people would rather you be fearful of them than to be
Yep.
respectful.
Then
And
to
some
be.
people look at that as being respectful, which is weird, but
Mhm.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's not.
It's not. It's not. It's really not. And I have to learn that with being a parent. Like I wanted to raise my child to with the sense of everything I wanted as a parent. Still having that level of respect, still having that level of I will fuck you up if you try me, but also having that level of I can come to my mother and tell her anything. Or, that's how I wanted to be with Jalen. And it was
Mhm.
like I didn't have that growing up. I didn't have that to be able to go to my aunt or my uncle to say what I was really feeling because I'd have been slapped in my damn mouth, and
Mhm.
have that growing up. I didn't have that relationship to where so I felt like I was safe. I didn't have that safe space with them. I didn't have that.
But it's
And I
just it's you creating your own. Like to my, I have
mhm,
4 nieces. My sister has 4 girls. And when I don't talk to the youngest two as much, but the older two I can talk to them on social media now. And
mhm,
whenever I start a conversation, even if I'm like my oldest niece, she's grown now. Well, I'll say she's an adult now. And when I see her doing certain things online, I still check her. But I always follow
mhm.
up with I always because we didn't in my family we didn't say I love you. We were not hugging
We were
people. We
not
didn't touch each other like
nope,
in that way.
nope.
Because many of us had inappropriate situations with touch. So I
Mhm,
think a lot of us grew up just distant, if not the whole family. So I
mhm,
would always say I love you to her and I hug her because those are things that I wanted from my aunts and uncles, and
mhm,
I did not get them until for some of them until I'm almost 40, and I'm just hearing some of them say I love you.
mhm,
I think I was
mhm,
30 the first time I ever heard my mother directly say to me I love you. And at that point, if you ain't heard it, you don't believe it.
yeah.
And it was always awkward when she would say it on the phone or a family member would say it, and I'd be like, "Oh, okay, I'll talk to you later." And I felt weird. And
Mhm,
now it got to the point where when they'll say it, I'll rush and say it and then hang up the phone. And but we have to understand that we train our children to be that way, and we have to figure out ways to change or grow because the change will be difficult and it will never fully change because that'll always be their go-to. But if you start showing them something different, they'll start growing towards that versus you just being angry with them for the rest of your life.
we never I can think about my family we were never huggers, we were never like touchy feely, we were never that I love you, you know I can honestly say I've never even heard growing up, I've never heard my aunts and my uncles tell each other that they love each other. It was just like, all right, see y'all later, and going
And
out
they
the door.
probably they had it, but because you don't say it and the person
Mhm.
don't hear it, you can tell it's a distance.
Mhm.
It's weird. It's I've had it's like but you are a hugger. Like you hug people now
I'm a
though.
hugger. I'm a hugger.
But was that because you start having friends that started showing you that? I'm sure you having a child probably softened you in that way as well.
Yeah, having a kid definitely softened me in that way, but I'm also a touchy feely person just by nature. Like I've always hugged my cousins and my sisters, like, but I can never honestly say like I hugged my uncles and my aunts. I never did that. But my cousins and my sisters and my brothers, I always hug them. I by nature as like even as a child, when I think about it, I was always that kid that was just like, oh guys, come on, let's develop a circle.
Oh, I would have been like, I don't want to be our friend.
Mhm. We don't want to do that, Crystal. I was always the kid that wanted to go like, frolicking in the meadow and just, all this love.
Mm-mm.
That was me. Like
I'll be in the shade watching your bag.
I was never that kid that would be like, "Don't you touch me? Don't touch me." It was always,
But that's a
oh,
lot. A lot of times that when you find, especially children like that, That's a
Mm-hmm.
red flag. Somebody has been inappropriate, or somebody is not has not given love to that person.
Me.
Right. And then
Me.
you have to find your, like, even now hugging people, it's very, very, very uncomfortable to me.
Okay, see,
And
that's the, see. I'm gonna talk about that. Like, okay, the other day, my mom was like, "Give me a hug." I was like, "Ugh, I don't want to hug her." And I'm gonna be honest. I was like, "Girl, what you want to hug from me for?" And I was like, I be trying to find ways out of giving her hugs. I be like, let me go do something real quick. I'll be right back. But when they come to anybody else, I be like, "Hey!" I be my arms be open wide for them, like I swear. And then I don't
but
know why.
I'll say
But when my mother asks for a
try
hug, I
it
give
one
her one of
time.
them. Hey, girl, how you doing?
Oh,
I gave
but
her one of them side.
that's a sign that there's
Hey, girl.
something there. And
Of course,
and
there's something
probably
there.
the same thing that happened to you is happening to her.
And,
Like, she has exposed
and
herself
what I
to
mean by it's something there is just like our relationship is so up and down, and I'm having to. Hello.
sorry, that was my phone.
Okay, I'm like my relationship is so with her is so topsy turvy, and it's like I have to now I have to find the calm in the sea when it comes to our relationship. And even now I'm still trying to figure that out. I'm still trying to find the calm in the sea when it comes to our relationship, because anybody who knows me know that me and my mother relationship is very, very, very rocky, very toxic at times. And it's sometimes where I literally cut her out of my life for months. And it's like
Mhm.
I'm trying to find that balance, because while I do want a relationship with her, I can still do without, if that makes sense.
Well, I'm gonna say to you, and only because I'm on the other extreme side of that, I've distanced myself from my family like that.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
And
Me
luckily
too.
nothing tragically really has happened
Me
in
too.
my
Yeah.
family over the course of the pandemic, because I felt like I've needed that space. But
Yeah.
so it's been, even before the pandemic, it may have been maybe 2 years that I had distanced myself from all family.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
And it was I mean, like, not calling, not
Not,
receiving
yeah.
calls, not
I don't.
seeing them.
I
So
don't talk to my
imagine
family in Mississippi at
we are
all.
like maybe a year out of maybe 3 years out of
Mm.
lockdown. So imagine, so like 5, maybe 6 years
Yeah,
of
I
not
get it. No,
seeing
I
or
totally
talking
get
to
it.
people. I have a funeral to go to, my uncle's funeral on the 1st. And I don't know how this is going to play out.
Mm.
I mean, not in terms of I think it's gonna be a fight and I'm gonna be fighting people, but I don't feel like, when funerals are my favorite time of year. Unfortunately, like, it feels weird, but in my
But you
family,
feel the love. You
that
feel
was the
the
only
love.
time we ever all got
Got
together.
mm-hmm.
And that used to be my favorite time, when my great aunts and uncles and all my cousins and people that lived out of town. That was the only time that we really got to see each other.
Mm-hmm.
But this has been the first funeral, and no matter how I feel about the person who passed away, I'm a family oriented person. But I don't know how this moment is gonna happen. I don't feel like going to the cemetery. I don't feel like going to the repast. And that was my like, that's my favorite part. I don't like the funeral, the church part, but the repast was like, this is our time to talk.
It's
And
our time to
in
turn
my
up.
family, funerals were always either at a church or at my mother's house. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why that was always that moment for me, because we didn't have a house that people ran in and out. So I don't know, but I'm saying to you, and that's why I always say it to you when you bring it up, like, find something, find a commonality, something to keep you from distancing yourself, because one month can
Yeah.
easily turn into 6 years.
See, yeah, and but the thing is, I'm there now. Like I haven't seen my family in Mississippi since I'm gonna say mid pandemic. I think
Hmm.
that's when it was when I drove down there. And even still doing that was so toxic. It was so toxic. And it's not even about the fact that, it's not even my family. It's just some people in my family who are mostly the elders now, the elders of the family. And I don't talk, and it's not that I don't want to talk to them. I don't talk to them. And
Right.
it's not that I'm mad at them or I have a problem with them. It's just that I don't talk to y'all. Like, y'all are not a factor in my life. I don't call y'all. Y'all don't call me. And my uncle's birthday was on St. Patrick's Day. And my sister was like, "Did you tell your uncle happy birthday?" I said, "No, because he don't tell me happy birthday." You
Mm-hmm.
know, no hard feelings, but I'm just not in the business of putting that effort into relationships that I know are gonna belly flop. I know it, because
Mm.
I've tried it before and that we've been here before, and I'm not willing to let myself. I let my son do his thing. He want to talk to them. Do your thing. I'm not. By no means am I gonna, have him not do it. But going home and talking to them and seeing them, I haven't been home in like 3 years. I haven't been home in 3 years, and I don't plan on going home no time soon. No, I don't want to go. People be like, "Oh, I want to go to Mississippi. Take me to Mississippi one day." I'd be like, "No, I'm not going. We can go, but I'm not going to go
Mm.
see my family. We can go, but I'm not going to go talk to nobody. No, I'm
And
okay."
that's your prerogative. For me, and like I was a person like I was similar to what you just described yourself as, but I was
Mhm.
always a person that wanted everybody to get along and
Oh,
wanted
me too. Me
everybody
too.
to
Me too.
be together. I wanted my mother and her sisters had like
Mhm.
ebb and flow relationships, and it was very unfortunate because the men were felt like lost causes at that time,
Mhm.
and it was the her and her sisters. They all had their own place. They all, you know, were at various degrees of their life. But I felt like if the four of them could get together, they could be magical. Like they could
Mhm.
do, and that was always my pull growing up. And then I just dealt with everybody else, and it when you lose that feeling as a child, it's hard to really get that back. So
Yep.
I understand everything that you said. I've said all these things myself at some point. I remember me and my cousins used to talk like this to each other. We used to trauma bond over the family. And then
Okay.
it went
Over
to
the
me
family.
not doing it with them to me and my sister used to do it whenever we got
Mhm.
together. But it really it was very I I don't want to regret like if something was to happen to my mother today or tomorrow, I would feel horrible only because I let so much time go by without communicating. One of my favorite great aunts was in the hospital with a stroke, and it killed me because I didn't want to run into any family. I didn't go, and I was like, if something would have happened to her, and it was like 18 of them now at one time, and now it's only three of them. If
Wow.
something was to happen to one of them, like
Ooh, sorry.
crazy, but
Mhm.
it just I think we need to fit as black people. I don't care about no other race at this point. As black people, we have to figure out a way to get rid of whatever trauma. And sometimes that includes other people, which makes
Mhm.
it difficult because if I change and they don't change, what what's the point of me
What's
changing?
the point of me changing? What's the point?
But at the same time, understand that there are people coming up behind you that may feel the same way about you.
Exactly.
And
That
that's
part
the
I'm
point. That's the like I don't want my oldest niece. I think she could clearly understand what me and my sister's relationship is. Like I love my sister, but I don't get along with her husband, and I've chosen to stay away and not have anybody else have to choose between me and him.
right,
So, but
exactly.
that is very
No,
detrimental
I
to
feel the same way.
relationship.
I feel the same way about my sister husband. I don't get along with her husband at all. And
But
I
you
don't,
don't want that to then be, so I don't have a relationship with my three younger nieces because of that. And
mm,
my oldest niece is now at a space where she is now acting like me and my sister act. So she stay distant. Like,
mm,
and I'm like, it's frustrating because we let another person grow up in this. That she's
mm-hmm.
a whole nother generation, and now
Yep, another
she's
family member. Yep.
acting the way me and my sister used to act toward like me and my sister were like this because my mother was like this. But
Wow.
I would not want my nieces to grow up like that and not feel like they don't like somebody because me or their sister don't like them. Me and my sister don't like them. But I just don't. I just think we need to figure out another way to be family. And the way we've been doing it is just so it's wrong. Like it's wrong. Like I always you the thing that the one thing that I used to pay attention at funerals, I used to always how you going into the cemetery, especially like March March not March the MLK cemetery, and you going through all those. I used to always see
What's
how
with MLK
long that
Cemetery?
snake was. MLK Martin Luther King cemetery. That's the
Mm.
one that most people are buried in the city. It's the one that you
Mhm.
got to drive all the way out Liberty Road,
Oh, King Memorial Park.
King Memorial. Yeah, but
Yeah, I'm
that's
like
like,
Martin Luther King Cemetery.
well, that's
Yeah,
it's
they did
named
have
after
Martin Luther
him.
King out there.
Yeah,
Oh
that's named
yeah,
him.
they did. Yeah, King Memorial Park. Everybody out there.
Right, right. But I used to always look at that snake and that snake of cars, and I remember
Mhm.
like my great grandmother had the longest one, and you would see certain people it may be like 20 cars or 10
Mhm.
cars, and you be like,
Wow.
oh, like I don't want
Wow.
to I don't want to leave that. I don't want to leave and my snake be like my best friend. Right, it just be my best friend there. But you have to
You know,
something, and it's weird and it's very morbid.
I
But
get it. No, I get it. I get it though. But that's why and I know this is a whole nother story. But that's why I don't want a funeral. I want to be cremated right off the top. Cremation. Don't have a memorial service.
right,
Straight repass. Nothing else. Repass
yeah.
only. And I'm writing that in my will, like Jalen. I don't want anything.
Well, you
I
can
want
plan that for yourself now.
straight cremation, no funeral, no memorial service. Don't put me in no casket so somebody can come see me. No, straight cremation, repass. That's
Yeah.
it. That's it.
But I would say because that's something because my uncle just passed and he had no insurance, and they
Mm,
had to do a GoFundMe, and I had another uncle who had insurance but didn't have a burial plot, and that my mother had to give up hers, so it just I'm
mm,
in a space right now where I'm comfortable. I used to be afraid to think about stuff like that, and
mm-hmm. I still ain't.
I'm at a space now. Not that I see my immortality or I feel like I'm gonna die soon, but
Yeah,
I'm willing to do it. I don't want to be a burden on anybody.
I don't want to be
So
a
I
burden.
already have reached out to I used to have a family funeral home, but they've closed it down since. So I've had to go out, and I went to March because that's the Black people's
They got
funeral
you
home.
giving too much money.
Yeah, but if
Wiley is
you
taking over
plan
though.
for it, now, it don't happen. Especially if you cremate it, that's like, outside of the cost of a service, that's like $1,200.
Yeah,
So
Wiley taking over though.
Wally,
Wiley,
yeah,
they taking over.
that's where my grandmother was buried with. But yeah, and I like their service too. But it just I just want us to do things, whether it's friendship or family or romantic
Mhm,
or
mhm.
just how we deal with community. It has to improve because we're doing things that don't equal up to how we feel. I've made a post the other day. Somebody reported my one of my shows for
Right.
well, and
Yeah.
it's not just that one show. Every single show that I've done in the last month, somebody's reported it.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
we were monetized and then we're not monetized, and it's messing with my business. Like, I how are BlackRoses supporters are supposed to love us. The
Right.
$6 that they send us, like they. I'm,
Please
I'm,
shout out
I'm
Cam
joking
Hall.
though. We're
Cam
really
Hall
thankful
need
for
his
any
shout out
support.
about his stars that he said he be sending. Cam Hall, thank you for your stars. I
He
be
be
sending
he be
my stars.
consistent though. He be dropping it. He be dropping it. But beyond that, it's just I just need in my life right now, I need people around me that get family. Whether
Mhm.
we friends or we're not, I don't want to work with people that I don't get along. If I didn't get along with you and Kay, I wouldn't want to do this. I
Right.
really wouldn't. And
What
that's just how I have to fill my space up with people that are trustworthy, respect me, because I don't want to keep doing stuff like that. Like for somebody to keep reporting my pages,
it's
that
so
means
irritating.
you just don't want to see me
You just a hater.
win.
You just a hater at this point. I wish you could find out who it was.
And then they allowed to be anonymous. They're allowed to be anonymous, and
Hmm.
that's the weird thing because I don't treat even situations where we may not be cool anymore. I don't treat people a certain way, and I
Hmm.
want people around me who also feel like that, who also and check me on my if I feel like
Check
I'm
me on
digging
my.
too much into somebody, check me.
Check
But
me on
we
my.
don't love on each other like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But let's go through these stories.
Because we had
We done did an hour and a
a
half,
whole
boy.
hour and a half just
But
talking.
it's important though. I think it's
You know, I
very
needed that. I
important.
needed this talk. I needed to just talk. Just talk. I
Hmm.
have so many pent up emotions, and I think today I'm going to play me some gospel music and do me a little ugly cry to get some
But
emotions
this
out.
is your platform.
I ain't finna cry on
I
here right now.
No, I'm not saying like that. But this is
Oh.
a platform for you and Kay to be able to do that. And that
Mhm.
sometimes you you don't want to expose that to the public because then that becomes content for people.
Mhm.
That becomes clickbait for people. And I don't
Definitely.
like doing that, but we have to begin to tell people how we feel, or
Mhm.
nobody knows. Like I've gone through a really dark period in the last couple months because leaving a station that I've been with for 10 years, or having to leave friendships behind and having to
Exactly.
now focus on having to go back and be with family for a second. It was all too much. Business, being an artist. I've been in my studio once a week and a half ago,
Mhm.
and I haven't been there since January, the end of January. And that's a different thing for me because that's not a norm. I'm always in that studio. I'm always creating. I'm always working. But I had to drop everything, in order to get back to this person. Like where I'm in my art. I'm feeling better. I still have things to work on, but I feel better. But I don't want to be around people anymore that don't share in that or
That
who
don't
don't
share
support
in that.
that in
Yeah,
me.
that's the part right there. That don't share the same thing that you like. I can't stand being around people who don't share the same thing that not. You don't even have to be. It don't have to be even the same ideologies, but we have to have something in common. We have to
Yeah.
have something that we can relate to. Just
But we have
something.
to find that sometimes. Sometimes that takes finding.
True.
And not just, let's go get that bag together. Oh, you don't want to get a bag? Oh, no negative vibes around me.
Okay.
Like, what if you the negative vibe?
What if you the negative vibe? I had to think about that sometimes myself. What if I'm the negative vibe? And sometimes
It's,
you gotta check you.
yup, check you, check
I had to check
yourself.
myself earlier this week because I was like, I did something with somebody and I totally blew it out of proportion and I went all different kinds of ways. And I had to stop and I said, Crystal, you caused this. You caused the drama that was so unnecessary. And instead of you taking accountability for your actions, you just gave this man all kinds of hell. And when you could just take accountability for your actions and say, you know what, I took this too far. I took it, because I'm telling you, if you go low, I'm going to hell. I'm going
Did you
straight.
go back to him and say those things?
I did. I went back and I said, you know what, it was me. It was me. And I apologize for it. I apologize for it. But
Mm.
there's something I had discovered, and I've been using this motto, but I've been using it so much this week, is that I am not in the business of changing people's mind about their perspective of me.
That's hard.
I'm
That's
not.
hard. It's
It is
it's
so
hard,
hard.
especially when you're
And
not a bad person.
especially when you're not a bad person. Like, and I had to really sit there and think, like, what if that person is, I'm really telling the truth, and people be like, you lying. I hate, like, something so simple as to my job. I don't have a clock in and clock out. I don't punch
Hmm.
in and punch out at my job. I
Okay,
don't have that time to
go
be at
ahead,
work.
Miss. I work on a salary. Go
Like,
ahead.
I don't even have a set time to be at work. As long as I come in there and I do my 8 hours and I get the fuck out of there, that's all they care about.
Oh,
So
they
I can do
hiring because I need.
right.
I
I
don't
can do
tend to want to get up until
whatever
after
I want.
9.
No, we really are hiring though. We really are.
Okay, so really, send that shit to
Yeah.
send that to me.
Yeah, you could be an autism liaison. But I said that to say, like, I don't have a set time to be at work. It's, you get there anytime between 6:30 and 9 o'clock, or 6 or 9:30. I
Oh,
forgot
that's
which one it is.
perfect. I'll be
And
there at 8:59 every day.
baby, when I say I could be to work tomorrow, I could be to work on Monday at 7:30, and then I can decide that on Tuesday I want to get there at 8:30. I get
Mm-hmm.
there when I get there, and I do my 8 hours, and I get the fuck up out of there.
Mm.
Period. And it's like people be like, "You lying, you lying." And I'm like, "What the fuck would I lie about that? Why would I lie about that?" And then I said that to say this. I am not in the business of changing people's perspective about me. I hate when people be like, "You lying." Okay, well, if you feel like I'm lying, I'm not about to do anything or say, because there's nothing that I can do or say that will make you change your mind. You already had your mind made up in the beginning that I wasn't telling the truth. You already had your mind made up that no matter what I say or no matter what I do, I can't prove to you that this is concrete and it will change your mind. And people have to understand that when it comes to apologizing, because I'm going to apologize, but I'm not going to keep fucking apologizing. I'm not going to keep saying I'm sorry, because it don't matter how many I'm sorry's I'm going to give you. You're not going to change. You're not going to stop to say, you know what, maybe which one is it after the 51st one or 10,000 one? I'm sorry. Which one are you going to be like, okay, maybe you really are sorry? I'm just not in the business of doing that anymore. I'm just
But
not.
that's that issue is so many different layers to it because
There's so many.
one, I don't get to tell you how you respond if I hurt you. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But on the
Mm-hmm.
flip side, on another perspective of that same issue, we sit up and talk about people with not even all the information.
Without even all the information.
We entertain other people talking about people. We gossip, we tarnish, we oh my, like it just, Tamika said something on my post when I posted about the person uh throwing that to my page. And
Mm-hmm.
and for me, I feel like that's all about, because if my Facebook gets shut down, all this shit gets shut down. And no, honestly, like I
No,
would have to
no,
start a
no,
whole
you're
nother
right.
page
You're
up. They told me if this happens again, my page could be shut down. And
right.
that's been every, but she said something on the page, and and it made me really go back to just how I treat people. And there have been sometimes I'm guilty of it. When I wanted you under the ground, baby, I dug a hole for you.
I dug a hole.
Ooh, I dug a hole for you. And I
Mm-hmm.
made sure everybody was in attendance to see that hole that I made for you.
Baby, I went to my funeral home myself and made the funeral arrangement, paid for the funeral, and all
Yeah,
that. All you had to
yeah.
do, all the people had to do
But
was just show
but
up.
we have to all, but like you just like we sit up and we will, there are people who have met me for the first time who had a perception of me that was, in my opinion, so off. But
Mm-hmm.
because somebody was hurt in our situation,
Mm-hmm.
or just did not want to see me win, you
Mm-hmm.
just go out. Like I used to have, and I'm saying used to, like it was 30 seconds ago, the biggest problem out of people talking about me,
Mm-hmm.
like, and not saying it to me.
You're not saying it to me.
We don't even argue with each other no more. We go straight to, I want
Somebody else.
everybody else in this
Mm-hmm.
space not to like him. I've had people say some really nasty things about me who
Uh-huh.
I've
Uh-huh.
been nothing but
Nice.
supportive of and protective of and given to. And it hurts because there's always some truth in it, but
Mm-hmm.
you went
Mm-hmm.
beyond so nobody would want to mess with
So
me.
nobody would ever want to talk to me.
And it just it that and when you said that, it's something I have to remind myself. Like I still, I, in the perception for me, I don't brag about everybody that I know. So you'll never know who brought me back that seed.
Right.
I'll never tell you because I want you to continue to have those free conversations with
Mm-hmm.
people.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll get information and I'm like, that is wow. And I used to go
Yeah,
right
oh
to the person,
wow.
like, if you got something to say about me, and I'm talking about
That used to be
knocking on
me.
doors at 2 o'clock in the morning.
That used to be
But
me now.
I decided I don't want to be like that anymore.
I don't want to
Like,
be that.
always on the fence, because that's not who you think I am. Has nothing to do with who I really
I
am
really am.
and who I will be. And yeah, it makes it difficult because you gotta repair relationships with people you don't even know. When it comes time to do the business, you gotta be okay with not getting that job because this person heard something. You gotta be okay with stuff like that, because maybe that wasn't
Exactly.
for me anyway. But this whole thing of us like trying to just bury people and erase people, and just, it's ugly, and we have to stop it, because on the flip side, I'm human. Those things do hurt. I can't care about it, but I can't also act like it didn't hurt, or it did not affect me, or it didn't affect my, because I'm really much a stone on the inside sometimes, but I'm still human. And my bit, if my pages would get shut down, I would feel so bad about all the work that you and Kay have put into learning how to be podcast. Now, I would
Mm-hmm.
definitely pick it back up. I always got a ace in the hole somewhere,
Okay.
but figuring that thing out is just hurtful, and you just got to
It's
figure out how to be you, and that's a part of growth and a part of maturity. So if anytime I give out information, it's always from a loving space and a space that I've been there. Whether it's how y'all book guests. I'm gonna say no, don't book that guest because they're not respecting your platform. And that's just how I've learned. And most of that stuff came from me not getting it and me wanting somebody else not to miss that lesson. But I just feel like Black people, we gotta get it. We gotta do it better.
I think we have to do better. It's just in period, as far as relationships, friendships, a relationship with coworkers, like any type of relationship that
Hmm.
you have yourself involved in, and you want it to thrive and you want it to be better. We have to do better as a people. We just
Yeah,
have
we
to.
did.
We have to do better as a people.
Mm.
And it's just so sad that we are living in a generation of people who just can be so easily discarded. Like, okay, I don't have to deal with her no more. All right, she gone. Like we are
And
living in
that
that.
be your sister or your mother or your father
Mhm,
or
mhm.
mm,
Yeah, yeah. And
yeah.
I just think that we need to get into a point of our lives where we have to start being accountable or taking accountability for ourselves. And it's so hard. Listen, somebody checked me just this morning. Just this morning. Checked me and said, "So are you going to take accountability for your action yesterday?" And I said, "You know what? I am. I am.
Mm,
I'm going to take accountability for that. I did that. I can honestly say I did that and I'm sorry." Like
mm.
I had I was supposed to have company yesterday. And I ain't gonna lie, I was drunk. I was hanging out with my friends and I was drunk.
Not drunk.
Drunk. And it was one of those things where it was like, hey, I'm at your building and I'm sleep. I'm dead sleep, like slumber, drunken slumber. And I woke up at 4 o'clock in
That
the morning.
hard sleep.
I woke up, it was 4:45 in the morning. And anybody knows, if you've ever been drunk, there's no such thing as a quick nap. There is no such thing.
Mm-mm. You
Especially
out.
when you had a long day. Like yesterday, I went to work, and when I got off work, I immediately went to my storage to move my bed, and it was like the bed, the box spring, the new box spring. It was so much, and I was so tired. And I went from that to bam, going to drinking with my friends. So at no time, I had no downtime, I had no rest. So getting drunk and then hanging out with my friends, and then subsequently trying to come home to have company, it was just like it wasn't happening. It wasn't happening
Mm-hmm.
so bad. And I know this person probably never gonna talk to me again. But if you're watching, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Hopefully he's watching. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But
It happens though.
I'm being accountable. I'm really holding myself accountable. And that's another thing that I don't like about telling people the truth, because people really don't believe in you. We have been so hurt by so many people with so many lies that we don't even know what's really truth. And that's all I can only honestly give people now. I can only give you the truth. And if you don't
Yeah.
believe that, it's nothing I can do about that. It's either
Yeah.
you gonna take my word for it and know that I'm being honest, or you're gonna keep believing what you want to believe, and I'm not in the business of changing your mind.
So the age you are right now, you're going into that space. I think that's how a
Mhm,
lot of us go into. That's how, because that's
mhm.
how I'm feeling. I'm going into my 40s. But the thing is, the bitterness part.
The bitterness.
You cannot take that with you on your truth journey, because
Mm-mm.
what happens is you begin to tell people a truth in a manner that protects only your heart, and you're not protecting their heart. You're not loving on them and telling them the truth. You are actually doing the exact opposite. You're removing any type of love. And I was like that going into my 30s. I think that's going into your 30s. You become brutally
You
honest, like a fifth
brutally
grader.
honest. Yep,
And it's so hurtful, because that's when you start burning bridges or start building them.
yep.
And it is a very difficult thing to do. So I consciously said to myself, I'm going to remove any bitterness from my heart, because I have to tell the truth. And that's why now I communicate my boundaries when situations happen, and not when they become big situations. When I hear the little red flags, because you don't want to take that bitterness with you. That's when you turn into one of them old grumpy old people. That
That's
is. That's why you think they got that way.
that's when you
They
turn
were
into one of
hurt.
the old miserable
Yeah.
people. Like I swear to God, I see so many people in their 50s and 60s who
That are
are
hurt.
miserable and hurt.
Yeah.
Like your life is so miserable, and because you're living in misery, you want to then put that misery onto somebody else's life, and I don't like that for them. And I think that when now the generation that we're in, when we become those new grandparents in the 50, that's going to be 50 and 60, if we make it, God, Lord, I hope we make it.
Mm,
I think that we're going to be seeing life in such a different aspect, in with a different perspective. We're not going to be those same old miserable grumpy, because we can say we have lived. We can say
yeah.
we have done and accomplished things in life that nobody thought we could do. And I feel like I can't wait to live in my what they call glory days, I guess. And
But that
and
starts now, though.
yeah,
You
it starts now. Yeah, it starts
It
now.
starts now, because you're 37 now. So all the choices you're making now, when you're 48, you're
Mm.
going to have to live the results of those choices.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
if you start living that now, and
Mhm.
not waiting, because once you get to that age, you know how much cleaning up you're going to have to do. So
Baby, you
and
know
that's
how
what
much
I'm saying now.
planning
Like,
you have to
I
do.
felt like everything was going wrong, but I'd rather clean it up now at 39 than to
Mhm.
be 49, 59, God
Mhm.
forbid, God willing, 69, 89, all that, and having to clean up and give my life over to God again,
Oh
and
my God.
say my apologies on my death. I don't want to be like
I
that.
don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't
Mm-mm.
want to be on my deathbed confessing some
Yep.
things that I can't,
Right.
about. Jalen said, just speaking of giving my life to God, Jalen had said to me the other day, he said, I've been thinking about going back to church. And it warmed my heart so much, because I'm like, yeah, you should. And I asked him, just followed up with him 2 days later when it was just me and him. I was like, you really serious about going back to church? He like, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have just said it to be saying it. Smart ass. Look at me, smart ass. And I'm like, okay, all right, well, go to church. What's stopping you? And he said, to be honest, I'm lazy. I don't want to get up. I don't. And I say, well,
That
church
sounds like fear, though.
church on your phone. You can start doing it on your phone. You can get up and set service for your phone. You don't even have to get out of bed. You don't have to always go into a church house. So you have to feel like you at church. I said, and then he's like, well, I don't have any church clothes. I said, the generation of people that are being raised in the church now don't have church clothes. Yeah, they wear
And that's fear. How old is he?
He's 21. 20. He won't be 21 until Halloween. He's 20.
So that was I remember. I used to, when I say I used to fight my mother, not physically fight her, but it would be tears, and I don't want to go to church. I don't want to
Really?
go in there. I don't want, like, every single Sunday. Like, I
Really?
would do it as if it didn't just happen last Sunday. And I remember the first time I went on my own as an adult, it was very scary. It was
Mm.
very scary. And then I had when I ultimately like gave myself to God, like it was a it was me going with a friend, but that friend brought me to their church and they stopped coming. So it was a test for me. I had to still keep coming.
I had to still keep coming. I had to
And
still
that
keep.
was a weird space for me to be in. And I did so much. I grew so much in that moment of me going to that particular church. But sometimes that's fear. You don't know what that will do because there's a
Mm-hmm.
reason he's getting to that point. But just reassure him. And sometimes that television church is not the same.
It's
It
not the
don't
same.
convict you the same.
Don't.
It
But I had
don't.
told him, like I never had that problem with him with going to church. He always liked going to church as a child. He didn't mind.
Mm-mm.
I never had that issue where he would be like, "No, ma." Now, second service, that might be a different story.
Oh, you wilding out. That's a full 8 hour shift at that
But
point.
Jalen never mind getting up and going to church on Sundays. Some Sundays he be dressed
Mm-mm.
for me.
If
And he
if kicking and
definitely
screaming was a person, it will
I
definitely have
never
my face on it.
I never had that issue with him going to church. Never had that problem. And
But
I
you speaking to
encourage him.
someone who went to Catholic school my whole life, so I went to church
Ooh.
every day, and you want me to go on Sunday too?
So you mean to tell me you got
No.
different waters on Saturday? Oh, okay.
Right, and
Oh,
Catholic service is nothing compared to
nothing.
we went to Pentecostal churches, and they in church all day
All
long. They
all
have a
day.
lunch break. That's how long they Pentecostals in church. I
Mm-hmm.
went to holiness with my mother's godmother. We went to Baptist. Like, those are all day services.
It's all day long. Talk
I
about
was
little break.
so I wanted to be Catholic so bad when I was a child. Cause we would be in there, we do a couple prayers, and you out.
I swear to God, I don't know why black churches take forever to have service. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, they try to make up for
Oh.
the whole week you've been out. Like, no.
And
Wasn't
then
we
you
just
got
here
church people
Wednesday? We were just
who
here
was just here Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Not you want to have revival all week?
Oh,
All week.
I am safe. God, let's just
What the
if
fuck
it
I
wasn't
do
so much pressure, I think I would have not made as many mistakes. But it was so much
for?
pressure. And then I'm on Sundays I'm learning from the black church, and then all week long I'm learning this white man's religion. And it was just you
It's
talking about a
confusing.
person who was
I can't. It's
anti.
confusing.
When I decided to go to church, I knew it was real because I hated church.
Mm-hmm.
I hated anything religion because it was too
Really?
much.
It was too much.
I
I
mean,
kind of.
I've been going to Catholic. I was going to Catholic school from middle school on up. That's a long span of time to be going to church. And then we had
Mm-hmm.
mandatory summer school.
Oh
So that
hell
means you going to school year round.
no. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't
Oh
do
my!
it.
I know how to say. I know how to pray in Latin and Spanish. A
Wow.
little French, like, that's too much. I don't think nobody need to know all that at one
I
time.
kind of want to start going back to church a little bit. I gotta just find my rhythm. I'm. It's nothing. I'm not scared. It's just that I really want to. I've been thinking about it though. I have been thinking about it a lot lately about getting back into church and going back.
Hmm.
Because at one point, honey, I was a holy roller. Like I was living for Jesus. It was just like me and God, and I'm just happy in my little. I ain't gonna lie, and it was just like I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened that
One Sunday turned into
that one
30,
Sunday turned
turned
into,
into 5 years.
and then it was really it was really working. Now that I think about it, I started this job and I had to work on the weekends, and it was just like,
Hmm.
dang, and overnight too. So I started out overnight at this job, and it was just it was every Saturday and Sunday overnight, and it was just like that Saturday night when I got off work Sunday morning, I ain't feel like going no damn church. I
Yeah,
was going to sleep, child.
that's
I
all
was
it took.
sleep. That's all it took, and then that's how I stopped. And it was
I
just
was
like
going to church during the pandemic, but it was online.
online.
And I would go to this Facebook church and then go to that
I'm
Facebook
gonna go to
church.
this Facebook church. Yeah,
And then
I
I was starting to be late for that. I was like, Lord, I can't even be on time for online service. It
wait
was
for
too
church
much.
on a computer.
Right. I wasn't even going to my computer. I was straight on my phone.
Hmm.
So that means I could have been anywhere.
How are you
Mm.
late for church on the computer. You could have been on your phone. You could have been in your bed,
I
just laying.
was often. Because
That's crazy.
everything was work here. So I would definitely be here. Then when I got the studio on Maryland Avenue, I would go in extra early and just set it up so I would set it up on my TV in there. And then I would just listen to church on Sunday mornings. And then I was like, this is too much. So I started getting there later and later. So it turned into me walking down Maryland Avenue with the church service on. It was, it was too much.
It
It
was
was
just
too
too much.
much.
It was too
And
much.
the church isn't the same as it used to be. Well, I'm
No,
not gonna say as it used to be. It's gotten really flashy in a different type of way,
I
and you
always used
don't
to say
believe everything.
when I was going to this one church, it was just always glitz and glamour, and I loved it. Don't get me wrong, I loved the atmosphere, but it was just all. I wrote this status one time, and I said I never knew that Jesus saved people in red bottoms and Louis Vuitton
Yeah,
because that's
yeah.
all it's about. You know,
Mhm.
Jesus never saved people in Prada shoes.
Mm.
No, he didn't have an iPad Bible. You
Yeah.
know, he didn't have that. He never saved people in Gucci. You know,
It
he
was
had
just a judgment for
diamond
me.
rings on him.
I never got into that aspect. It was this lady, the organist at the church I went to. She every Sunday she was like, "I can't wait to see you start running around the church." And I'm not a person that's gonna be shouting and screaming and all that. I might do a little crying and that's it.
Might do a little
And
cry.
she
I
said,
might
"I
even do
can't
a
wait to see
little.
you when you gonna start running around the church." And she
I
said
never
it in
ran
a way
around the church.
like,
I
"When you
never
gonna
ran
get your
around
life
the church.
together?"
But baby, but that doesn't constitute me having my life together. I need people
Yeah,
to understand
but
you
I
running
started
around
looking
the
at the
church
messenger
and
then.
laying
That's
out
when I
into
started
the
focusing on the messenger because she was a lesbian who had a child out of wedlock.
baby. It was the people. It was the people in my
Well, I
church
ain't
who
mean to tell her business like that, but
the drummers and the organists who would go outside after when the preacher started preaching and smoke their weed and come back and start playing the shout music.
oh no.
So it's
Well,
time
because
we do.
often sometimes they would just pay people. They was just
They were just
musicians.
paid people. They wasn't really members of the church.
Mm-hmm.
Paid people. They just paid to
Yep.
be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is bad.
But there's a new age church. There's a new age now in the church. Like people, the pastors now are younger. They are more like I
I
don't
ain't
want to
able to
say
do that. Mm-mm.
worldly, but they're more like
Nope.
dressing like they got on they dunks in the pulpit. You know, they don't have
Yeah.
no collars and they don't have all these accolades. They don't have all of that. And
Nope.
I kind of like that because they are appealing to a different mass of people now. We no longer gone are the generation of the days of Big Mama. You know, Big
Yeah, but everything is
Mama.
so content driven. And
Yeah,
I can't get into that. Like I can't go to a funeral with jeans on. It's just that's the tradition that's in me.
I did that.
I'm not saying they don't have a covering over them or they not called, but I ain't about
Yeah, I did that. Went to a
maybe
funeral.
on Youth Sunday I'll listen to it, but not
Yeah,
every
so you
Sunday
know
I
how
gotta
you
hear
Sunday you
this.
had dress. You know how you had dress down Sunday. Now
Yeah.
every Sunday in some churches are just dressed
See,
down.
and I can't get with that because I think
Yeah,
that takes away the whole. I don't think it takes away the spirituality altogether, but I think it takes away the respect.
mm,
Because if you can come in here with your mini skirt on, I
mm-hmm,
think you already knocked yourself down a couple levels.
mm-hmm,
Or if everything is about a catchphrase, or if you only about pointing people out, and
yeah.
I it's just it's certain things I came here for a message, not admonishment. I can't. Mm-mm.
I came here for a message, but that's just the new age church is so different now. Like all the
Yeah,
churches are very different now. I look at the robes and I don't even think the robes and the accolades and the rings and the everything is just and the collars, all of that is just not
it's not.
the
Jamal
attire.
Bryant that went down to Bishop Eddie Long's church, and
Mm-hmm.
now he's trying to convince his board to start making weed,
That is
growing
not
weed.
see, and I was gonna talk about that next week. That was gonna be my topic next week. I was
Hmm.
gonna put that in one of my hot topics. I see where he coming from though,
Come
because
on, what you not gonna do is be rolling up blunts in the service.
that's not what he's
But
saying.
that's
People
he's using that as a ploy to get these people to come in. So now
people are
we
taking
gonna
it
have a
out of
smoking section
context.
again.
No, what he's saying is, since weed is now legalized and people can legally sell it, let's go get some farmers who can help us grow this weed so we can go sell it. He's not saying come sit in my church and roll up your weed and smoke and say thank you, Jesus. That's not what he's saying. He's saying let's put money into where we need to put our money. This is a money thing. Okay, let's go get us a 2 acres of land and build us a weed farm.
Do you know
And
how much land that church sits on?
let's go put some. Let's go
That's
put
a
a seed
town.
farm on our land. Let's go do that. He's not saying come sit in my church and roll up your blunt. That's not what he's saying.
But
What
I
he's saying
think I
is
see
let
the
employ
issue
these
that I
people.
had with stuff like that is the translation is now gone,
The
because now you will have people come into the church that's just potheads, or the potheads will come out or reveal themselves in the
potheads
church,
are already
and
in
that's
the
what it's
church.
going to become about.
But
You
it's
will have
people
people
that's just
coming in the
selling
church
weed.
smelling like weed.
You got people already doing it though.
Yeah, that's
People
uh
already doing it.
but that's those churches that try to be like so no boundaries. I mean, and I don't want to restrict
But
anybody.
what's so
Come as
different?
you are.
So here's
But
my
there's
thing.
a certain level of respect. Like
Wait a minute.
when I'm not saying, like, for me, I can't be a person that go to a funeral with jeans and a t-shirt on, because I feel like you're celebrating somebody, and I want to be in I want to be in my best.
But
They're not in the
everybody don't
casket
have
with
that
jeans and
same.
t-shirt on unless they
Everybody
under a
don't have
certain
that same
age. But
rapport, and that's why a lot of people stray away from the church because you gotta be or look a certain way to come in here. And it's like I thought this was a house of God's people. It say come as you are. That
yeah,
like
come as you are, but that requires growth though. Like at some point you
exactly.
have to grow from that.
That's what I was getting ready to say. It requires a certain level of growth. Once you become familiar and into Christ, you then want to change your whole image of
Right.
yourself. Because going to church is to change your mindset. Once you
Hmm.
get your mindset changed, everything else will follow. You will start to be like, all right, I don't want to wear no jeans this Sunday. It's Easter. I kind of want to put on a nice little, I want to put on a nice little suit.
Hmm.
I want to look like Deacon such and such. I want, hey,
Right.
Deacon, show me how to do that because I ain't.
But the way they're promoting it is they don't require any of that, and I'm okay with that. Like, the children typically don't always come dressed up, and that's fine, so they're comfortable. But for me, it still takes a level of respect out of where you are. And I think we went over the line where it became too much about what you have on. But I feel like we are doing too much we're advertising like it's a rap video or it's a
True.
TV show. No, this is the house of God, but you're also walking yourself into someone else's spirituality. And I
Mm-hmm.
should not have to MTV or BET my spirituality down so
My
we can get
servant.
more younger people. Look at your son. He already has a mindset like this is something I want to try. This is
Mm-hmm.
an avenue I want to go down. And that's partially because you brought him up in that way. He didn't have an issue, but at some point it's still his choice. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
feel like we need to be dangling a dime bag or the music now, you playing beats, trap beats in the church. I just don't. It's a
Not
place
not
for
a
all of
gospel
that,
artist,
and I just
not
feel
a
like
gospel
when I'm trying
artist
to get
got
my save,
church songs with, not a gospel artist got songs with the rappers.
yeah.
You even got Christian rappers. I remember at one point Christian rap was like, why you rapping about Jesus? But it's like you gotta learn how to be able to reach people where they at, and then once they get where they
But they
at,
have to want it though. So
yeah,
all
yeah,
the
yeah,
Snoop
yeah, they have
Dogg,
to want it.
Kanye, they came to the church. The church
Mm-hmm.
didn't come to them. They
Mm-hmm.
came to the church, and it's
And then
and
they
it's
mindset.
semantics, but is a balance in it. It's such
Mm-hmm.
a balance in it, and I don't. You can't hip hop your way into. I'm not into heaven. I'm just saying it, and I'm not saying everything has to
But
be
how can
somber
you say
and
that though? Everything about heaven ain't gonna be like, oh, in order to get into heaven, you gotta have this glowing light over you. Like,
no.
no.
But the point I'm making. So people, the way that they're marketing it now, all of the values of the church seems to be. I mean, a lot of the people in the church that aren't from that lifestyle are doing it, but we're now anything goes.
I think it's more so now that people are not being, what they call it, condemned or shamed for being who they are, and
Yeah.
coming forward and say, I want to change. I want to change my life. And we're not in a culture of, gone is the culture of calling people out in the front of the church or in front of the congregation. You get what I'm saying? Oh,
Yeah. Well, that's
Mother
because there's
Jenkins
TVs and shit
found
in there
out her
now. You can't
son.
do that.
Yeah, Mother Jenkins, I found out her son was smoking weed, and now she done told the pastor, and pastor done called him in front of the church and done shamed him in front of everybody. Gone
But
are
you,
those
but you, I
days.
mean, sometimes when that go over, what wasn't that like family though? If
Not
you went to
really.
if you went to a mega church, now half the city
Yeah,
know. But if you went to the little storefront church, that's like an intervention.
yeah, yeah.
And I think but it, like, did you see the video of the pastor? She was talking about this lady who had a message for her
For her
husband,
husband, and
and
she
she
told her she
started
was gonna beat her
cussing
ass.
and
She told her she was gonna beat her ass when she see her.
right. And
Mhm.
that is the line when we start marketing to a
That's
specific
we are
genre of
making
people.
some people are
That is
making a
then now what
mockery of
happens.
Jesus. Some people are making a mockery of the church because it's things like that, like, and things like that. I feel like, yeah, you're not supposed to say that in church. In the Lord's house, no, that's not what you're supposed to say. I wouldn't even cuss in the Lord's house, but it's like
She went. That was like,
she went
and then she came
overboard.
back with her anointed apology. I'm so
Okay,
sorry. I have a
okay.
calling over my life, and I should not be. No,
Did
it. The
you see the one
reality is that's
about?
how you really felt. But was that the place for you to display that?
Did you see the one about the lady who called the lesbian couple? This was in Lanham, Maryland. The lady
Mm,
called the lesbian couple at 3 o'clock in the morning and told her that she's a prophet from God, and she was just calling them to tell them that the Lord said that they need to go ahead and divorce. Like, girl, why at 3 o'clock in the morning the Lord did not tell you that?
right, and that's on the flip side of it. If I didn't hear it, what you telling me is your own personal opinion at that point.
Exactly, exactly.
You ain't hear from God
You
because
ain't hear from God,
don't
and
nothing
especially at
good
3 o'clock
happen
in the
at
morning.
3 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm. 3 o'clock in the morning, calling them talking about, I'm sorry to be calling you at this hour, but I'm just giving you, I'm a prophet of the Lord, and I'm giving you a word from the Lord. The Lord told me to tell you, you need to leave your wife. Ma'am, what? At 3 o'clock in the morning, he told you that about me.
Mm,
No, not at all.
yeah.
Not at all.
It's just,
But
I mean, it's just a lot, and all I think today's thing was really like your perspective and relationships, but just we gotta treat people better. We
we
gotta
have to.
really
We have to.
get ourselves together because I can't treat you better if I'm treating myself like garbage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because it's just not one. When I start doing that, I'm gonna be worse on myself, and now I'm not gonna be the real thing that you need right now. But I really, I would like for you and KD and Black Roses, the lady men, to really utilize this platform and really, treat it like an actual reality show, what a reality show should be. Because
Mm-hmm.
it's going to help you all connect with your audience more. But at the same time, you're going to find there are some truths that I told on my platform that I never said. The first time I ever said I was molested was when I was on my podcast.
Mm-hmm.
First time I never told anybody. I never said it to a therapist. I never said it, I never faced it. I never even said it out loud before. But and I'm not saying you need to be that raw, but you'll find spaces to be that honest. And I
You
think
will. You will definitely find space to be honest.
you'll
Yeah.
start changing in a different way.
Yeah. I think I do that anyway. For me, I'm gonna keep my truth. I'm gonna keep it real, and I'm gonna keep it raw.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
I'm gonna
But
keep
y'all
it
play it safe a
real.
little. Sometimes y'all play it safe.
I'll play it safe for a little while, and then I'll be like, girl, just tell the truth. Just let it out.
Well,
I just let it.
what?
You know what?
Actually, this is what really happened.
This
But
what really happened. This what was really said.
but
But
the reason I say that also because I played it safe. I would drop a bomb like that and then laugh it off. I wouldn't really
mhm,
dig too deep into it, or you know, this is a difficult space and time that we're living in. So many people are struggling, And then the other half of the people are really prospering and really making it harder for the people that's struggling. And
Mm-hmm.
then even those people are getting convicted in ways that you wouldn't
Like,
imagine.
you wouldn't even imagine.
Everybody is being uncovered,
Mm-hmm.
and people are being forced to live in their truth. And
Yep.
it's hard. It really is hard.
Hard.
Don't nobody want to admit all the little skeletons in their closet.
People want to be. People want to be seen as this perfect entity, and I can't live my life like that. I can't live my life like
But that's how we were taught to
everything
live.
is going just so fine. Everything is going so amazing, and I'm fine. Ain't nothing going on. Ain't nothing wrong.
Everything that happens in this house stays in this house. We gotta break that.
We got to break that cycle. We have to break that. We have to break that with in our generations, with our kids, and with ourselves.
Hmm.
Even with ourselves, we have to break out of that.
Yeah.
But
Because
this
we're
is
seeing
something
I think our generation is a generation that's a reflection of that. Like
I think our generation is a generation of people who are breaking generational curses. No matter how minute
yeah.
it may be to some, it could be next week.
But we're being forced to do it. It's not a choice that we're making. Because many
next
of
week.
us are creating new generational curses.
That's it. That's it.
Hmm.
That's it.
I see it. I see it. When I look at my niece,
Mhm.
I just it makes me so hurt that me and my sister couldn't get it together. And I'm not saying the weight of our family struggle should be on me and my sister's shoulder, but I know my sister know what it feels like, but she's turned into my mother. I don't want to deal with the family. I don't want to. These are mine, and she moved way out like my mother did. Just accept, and it's just yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
now she's starting. She's my mother just started getting sick in her 50s, and now it's my sister is in her 30s and showing the same symptoms of sickness that my mother was in her early 50s getting sick with.
Mhm.
And that's
Mhm.
because we've spent nothing's changed. So of course it's gonna happen to this generation faster than the last generation. Good
Mhm.
and bad. But we gotta figure out a way to not just break the curses, but communicate. Like if something happened to you, if something's you've done something to somebody, like we have to learn how to. And I'm saying that speaking over myself, but we got to figure out a way to communicate those hurts and that
Yeah.
brokenness, so we're not passing those shards of glass on to the next
Yeah.
generation.
The next generation.
But
I think I think I broke my own generational curses with Jalen in certain ways. And I think that even he broke a generational curse for me. Um
hmm
when it came to having kids and being a teenage parent. That's a generational curse that I'm
hmm
proud that he broke, you know?
I remember at 30, the first time I heard and I said the first time I heard my mother say, I love you directly to me. That's she said, you taught me how to be a mother, one, but you also taught me how to be. Because
Mhm.
I was the person, no, I'm not going to have a bunch of children in my house. No, this is not going to be the house of refuge. No, I'm not going to be giving my last to everybody. Now,
No,
did I
ma'am.
make some of those same mistakes? Yeah. But
Mhm.
I mean, I don't have the house of refuge. This
Yep.
ain't the house that people come to when they don't got nowhere else to go, but
I swear for a while that was me. I was a house of refuge. And I had to realize, like, I can't be that for my siblings anymore. I can't be the house of refuge for y'all anymore.
yeah,
I can't. I can't.
yeah.
That's why I started moving in 1 bedroom apartments like I'm doing now. That's why I started moving in 2 bedroom when
Baby, I'm
Jake.
looking for a studio. I don't even want you. I want you to feel like, no, I can't even.
I can't even. No, I
mm,
don't even think about it.
I wouldn't even want to ask him. Can I? No, because he don't even have a bedroom. No,
His bedroom and his living room together.
I've been looking for
What
one
bedroom?
bedrooms.
How's your apartment search going?
I found something I like.
Yeah.
Um, the 410 lofts.
Yeah, yeah, the one over here, like the beside Lexington Market, right?
I visited them on Thursday, but you gotta nowadays I gotta have a baby and then give that baby to them. They want my blood samples. I gotta give them bone marrow. They want me to make 5 times as much. Like all this. I just
Mm-hmm.
want to be an artist with a clean, safe space to live. It's better enough it's outside of Utah Street. But
Mm-hmm.
I liked it because but it's geared towards the artist. So they have a studio in there where I could do my podcast from. Like y'all could come
Yay.
down, we can do the studio in there. They have an art gallery where I could curate an art show. So it's very much so art on Utah Street.
Okay, I want to go in there and see what it's like. I just want to
And
assess.
I came out and I walked down the street to Lexington Market and got myself a little smoothie.
See,
I
and
said I could do this.
I like about living, I'm excited on this journey that I'm about to go on with living downtown, and I want to be able to walk to get my food, and not
Walk
have
to
to
work.
walk
Oh,
to
you
I
gonna be showing
listen,
off now.
I
You're not
literally,
leaving out the house until 8:59.
when I say my job is literally down the block, like
Mm.
I don't have to walk. It's a 5-minute walk. It ain't even 5 minutes. It's 5 minutes on a slow day when I don't feel like walking. But in the general, if I
Well, you
walk
gonna be
fast,
showing off.
if I can get to work in 5 minutes, and it's only 5 minutes because I will take
Every
my
lunch
time
break.
on my
Where is she?
phone.
She home.
I'm going home on my lunch break. I see y'all in a few.
She gonna be
Listen,
leaving out 5 minutes early, and 5 minutes gonna turn into 10 minutes next week.
listen,
20
Wednesday I
minutes.
moved in Tuesday. Wednesday I got to work at 7:30.
Showing off. You know damn well that's not gonna be an everyday thing.
Okay, wait a minute. Got to work Wednesday at 7:30. Got to work Thursday at 8:30.
She gonna start waking up 10 minutes before she gotta be to work. All my clothes already laid out. I can just jump in the
I got
shower.
to work yesterday at 8:45. I mean 8:15. So I realized waking up at 7:30 because I'm gonna still wake up at my 7:30. I see that now. I'm gonna still just wake up at my 7:30. It takes me about 15 to 20 minutes to get dressed, especially if I already had my hair done. But House Mother of America refugees checking in.
mm,
I got to
mm.
work,
We need to start that need to be a Facebook group.
okay.
House of Refuge no more.
I want you to feel so uncomfortable.
So uncomfortable. Like you know what? I'm not even going ex Nick. He got a studio. Like I can see his bathroom.
Look, and you got to do it one up. You got to get a dog or something or a cat.
Oh yeah, just make it. Oh yeah. Now I'm just gonna bring all my jewelry supplies in so they don't even see a space for them to be able to. But and that's only because my mother. When I say I was in first grade class, and it was a young man that came in, and we did not like each other first time, and it was something God was speaking to me, and I should have listened, but I was in the first grade, I didn't know any better. I got home, this little boy was sitting on my couch with his mother, his father, and his 4 siblings. And you know who bedroom they slept in? Mine. My mother would take in, my mother was a transition house for each one of her siblings. So they would come live with my mother and she would help them get their first apartment and set them up. My mother would take in families. When I say I don't want to, I didn't even want to fish in here. I don't want that to take care of nobody. Nobody.
Not the fish. I want a frog so bad. I know you told me to wait to get some pets.
Just wait, like walk around with your titties out for at least a couple months.
I do that anyway.
But pay that rent for 6 months. Pay that rent for 6 months and just be you. And don't even, if you got a little gentleman caller, go to his house. Don't even let him come to yours right away.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, you gonna feel a difference. Just throw your clothes anywhere, just for a couple months.
I already did that.
It's probably a wig sitting on the dining room table right now.
One thing should show and two things for certain. Crystal Gatlin gonna take her clothes off anyway and leave them there for a couple days.
At the front door. It used to be, you could tell which room I went to first, because that's where the clothes would start coming off. The shoes was at the door. My pants was in the bedroom. My shirt was in the bed. Like
one of my bras, it was on the kitchen counter.
Right. You just saw me strip walking through the house.
I know there's like some apartments kind of like across the street, like our bedrooms are facing each other. I know they might be like, that girl ain't never got no damn clothes on.
Well, if you can see, then it was meant to be. So see what you see.
I know they probably like that bitch ain't never got no clothes on because the way my living room windows are sitting is like they're high, but you can kind of still see in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, I walk around here all day with just a shirt on, or I might have on some underwear. I
My
might not
friend
have.
said when I get my new place, the first thing he's gonna buy me is curtains because I don't have any curtains up in my house.
That's a white
I
woman.
live on the top floor.
That's a white woman.
If you get to see me, then you deserved it.
Ain't no way you ain't got no curtains.
Nope. And I have huge windows.
You ain't got no blinds.
No, for what?
Oh no, See, you crazy. That's
They
white people.
like those picture windows, so they not just windows like my bedroom window. All this light that's in a huge window in my bedroom. Like, if you can see it here, baby, you deserve to see.
You
You
deserve to
deserve
see.
to see whatever you see.
Well, this was a great show. I had fun with you today. We talk about what we were supposed to be talking about, and
Not
that's
one
just fine.
topic. Not one topic.
That's just fine. We just kept going.
We'll just save them for one of them days where you forget something and we got a
Right.
story to
I
talk
don't even
about.
know what I said. Here, we just bring this back up. We ain't never talk about this.
Never.
If you guys want to become a sponsor, please hit us up at I.Am.She Podcast at gmail.com. Oh, I'm sorry. And PodcastIAmShe at gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
You can DM us. You can DM Nate, myself, or KD. But please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube under the Artist Exchange. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our Facebook and Instagram under I.Am.She Podcast. Once again, please, 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 if you want us to keep coming on and keep giving you these real world conversations, be a sponsor. Send a girl $1 or two. Send something shit. We need it.
And we
But
have some events popping up.
period.
We have some events popping up. Should have been doing some already, but we all was down bad.
We was
At the
down
begin-
bad. We was down
But
bad.
for the people who don't think I like Park Heights, I'm doing an art show in the Park
Oh,
Heights Barbershop on the 15th
oh,
of April.
okay.
So I'm working with a number of artists and trying to find some non-traditional spaces to do some art shows in, and that is our first location, the Park Heights Barbershop, the historic Park Heights Barbershop, because it's been there for years.
Mm,
And come on out. So I'll start posting them to the pages. If you also see, we have a number of services where we can help you with some wraparound services for your business and your brand in terms of advertisement. So come on out and support. Um, and yeah, just like and share. Let people
mm,
know. Um,
my head is
Starting in April, there will be a call-in number where you can call in and you'll be able to
Ooh,
connect with us and you'll be able to send messages. But we're moving slowly and steady. But just be
we good.
patient and
Slow
share
and
the shit
steady
out.
wins the race. We have a nice little community room in at my building, and I think it'll be great for some events. I was just every day I walk by it, I think about all types of events that we can definitely have in that community room. It's not too big, but it's not too small. But it's a nice size, and I think it'll be great for some little little cute pop up events or something that we might want to have one day. And it's a lot of foot traffic
Well
in this
planned.
building.
Well, you set the modes of motion because I gotta keep it moving now. I can't stop. So once you
Mm-hmm.
get settled in,
Yeah, they
once you get settled in.
I was looking at a flyer that somebody put on my door the other day. The men they're doing like this men thing every Monday and Wednesday nights, for about 2 hours where they talk about mental health and they talk about financial wealth and things. I'm gonna try to get the flyer and let y'all see it. It's for and you can it don't have to just be for people in the building. It be for people all around. It's a really nice event that they're going to be giving every Monday and Wednesday, starting in April, and I thought that was really nice. I
We
really
might
did.
can do a like we did an open house before. We might can do an open house.
Yeah, we could. We definitely could do an open house. We definitely could. Yeah, it's a really nice little community room. Really nice. Got a little TV in it, so we can have a little bit of entertainment going on behind us as well.
Um, we can might broadcast her live and have her up on the screen if she can't get up
Mhm.
here.
Mhm. Yeah, we can do
Well,
that.
this
All
was a nice
right.
therapy session.
It was. I needed that. I needed that. I
All
just want to.
right.
I want to. I feel so convicted in my spirit about me flaking out on somebody last night, and I just want to apologize again because that really was not my intention.
So make it up to them then. Treat them
And
out to
I'm
lunch or
trying, but
something.
I feel like this. I feel like this. If I'm gonna apologize, and I have apologized, but I also feel like I'm not gonna be like blowing your phone up and you not answering my phone calls and stuff like that because that's not me. I'm not gonna do that. I apologize, and I'm going to apologize a couple more times, but that's about it. I'm not gonna call, and I'm
Well, I'm telling you, just invite them out to like a dinner or something, or meet them at Lexington. You by Lexington Market now. You go have a
Mhm.
nice little lunch.
That would be nice.
The dancing potato about to open back up. That'll be a
I
nice
did not
treat for
like that
them.
food. I did not like that food too much. I like the other food.
I think it's gonna be better now because she
I
pay a
like
lot more
Mount
money.
Olympus. You know the Mount Olympus people with the Lord. I think she was Chinese or maybe she was Greek. I don't know. But it was called Mount Olympus. It was right there beside Auntie Anne's or behind the corner of Auntie Anne's or something like that. Anyway, it was called Mount Olympus. They had the best potatoes. Dancing potatoes
In
from
Lexington Market,
it used to be in an old Lexington Market. It was called Mount Olympus, and they sold like cheesesteaks and loaded potatoes, and they had the best potatoes, the best
they
potatoes.
were right up against a wall. I think it was one because I think that's the one where I used to like. wh- So I liked the. I'm not gonna say their name. I liked them, but I think their staff wasn't. There was no continuity in the
What was it?
quality.
What was it?
But
What
this
food?
one, I used to like getting my lamb potato from there.
Yeah, I think yeah, and it was like
Yeah.
it was always like a Chinese looking lady, or maybe she was
Uh
like
huh.
some. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah, that's the one I
Olympus
used to
is
get.
not.
I saw when they finally closed that one down. I started going to that one, but I don't know if she's in that new one or not.
No, they not. I know
But
everything
everything in that mall is
everything in
because
Lexington.
they
I know
the
just about
prices
every
have
stand
gone
in
up.
Lexington. Yeah, yeah. I like the Korean barbecue place. That's one of my favorite places to eat at now. The Korean barbecue place. I like
And
the
there,
and the new one.
see, I didn't. I wanted. That was the first time I've been in there since they opened that up, and I
Yeah.
just walked around. I didn't really. I was
I
ghetto. I
feel
went
like
and
that
got some
people
Chinese
are
food.
underestimating it. I feel like it's not how the old one used to be. It's not overcrowded. It's nice and
It's
spacious.
getting there.
It's nice and spacious. I think that they could have did a better job of spacing out the stalls. Yeah,
But
because
they when everybody that because when you go on the second level they got the little kiosk. I was about
yeah,
to I'm looking into doing a kiosk down there
yeah, they got
um
the
just
kiosk.
to see, but the girl was like they are so expensive.
Really?
But everybody prices all the stuff that was in there before the chicken and waffle place, the prices to all their food are gone up.
I walk by Connie's Chicken and Waffles every day, and I never gotten anything to eat from there.
It's good. The food is good. It's just more expensive now. My favorite place is that smoothie place before you walk up the steps.
Oh, the Chinese place that sell like the produce and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, my friend get stuff from there all the
It's
time
a
too.
little too expensive, but it
Yeah,
was
right
real
there.
fruit in it. You could see
Yeah,
them
it has
making
real
it right in
fruit.
front of you.
They cut the fruit up right there in front of you. Yeah,
Hmm.
they sure do, and they sell other produce too. They sell fruits and
Well,
vegetables and
if
everything.
God blesses me with my apartment, maybe we can have lunch there.
Yes, it's only like a block away. It's a little hill, but I'll walk it. It's
On
maybe
my
like two
second
blocks
paycheck, because that's gonna be as expensive.
I live like 2 blocks away. I think I'm gonna walk up there today. I think I'm gonna walk to Lexington Market today. Get
What
me a
time
little.
they just open on Saturdays, right?
No, they open every day. They except for Sundays. They open
Oh,
every
okay.
day, Monday through Saturday. I think from 8 to 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might walk up there today, get me a little bit of lunch or something.
She a downtown girl now.
I'm
Anything's
a downtown,
possible.
and I'm right here beside Streets Market. You ever been to Streets Market?
Oh, I know where you at now. Now I
I
know where you at.
love that market. I might walk. I don't know. I want some sushi, but then again, I kind of want some corn, some street
Now
corn.
you got to go to the little candy shop that's next to the liquor store right there.
What candy shop?
So Streets Market right here. Well, first of all, you got a food court in there. There's a food
Yeah,
court
yeah.
on
It's
the
a food
inside,
court right there
but
on the
outside there's a floor. There's a florist. There's a liquor shop, and
right,
there's a
right.
candy shop right there.
Really, I never knew that. I gotta go look.
And
I
they
used to walk
got the
to this.
roasted peanuts and all
Really?
that. But if you go inside to the food court part, there's a I can't remember the name of it, but they got the best gum. They got gumbo. They got a fish gumbo.
A lot of them places in there have shut down though.
But
I
most
know
of them, well, if you when you go inside, you go to the left,
go to the
and
left.
you go to the left, and you go around, and it's like the second stall. I think they're still
Yeah,
there though.
no, it's a black owned spot right there now. They sell
Yeah,
like cheesesteaks and wings.
is that it?
Yeah, they sell like
It's next
cheesesteaks.
to the Chinese place.
Yeah, right next to the Chinese place.
Yeah,
They sell
yeah.
like
But
cheesesteaks
they
and
have a
wings.
gumbo there. Girl, don't make me have to come downtown today.
I love it though. I love my little area.
I like street markets
I
though.
love streets. I love streets.
Yeah,
I love streets. Yeah.
they're a little pricey,
They're
but
very pricey, honey. I even on my lunch break, sometimes when I used to go over there on lunch break, you would spend like $30 on some lunch.
yeah. But
Mm.
you got it though. You live downtown now. You got it.
No, I don't. I'm on a budget.
Don't get that buffet, but so many times. 'Cause that weight.
Because that weight, honey, that weight adds up. That's why I'm like,
You
oh
be
my
like
God,
$30. What did I put
like,
in
don't give me
there?
that big piece. Even the sushi be high. The
Yeah,
sushi be like $15.
I haven't had the sushi yet because it's just I don't like fucking with my stomach like that.
They sushi is amazing, amazing. The little Chinese boy who makes the sushi, I know I get on his nerves every day, honey, because I be like, I want mine fresh.
I be
Can you
flirting with
make
the
mine?
little
I
Hispanic
be like,
boy
make
in
mine a
there.
little specialty. Make mine, and then they sell sandwiches. They sandwiches be good.
See, I only went to the buffet because I'm
Yeah, they
greedy like
sandwiches
that.
be off the chain, and you know that even the market part, they got fresh. They fish and stuff be looking so fresh and good.
Yeah, yeah. They
I
got a nice dessert section too.
They do.
That's my
Oh my
fat ass.
God! When I found out about their bakery, and I had never been over on that side before, and I went over there. Me and my coworker was looking like, "Girl, why we ain't never come over here?" The cookies and the cakes and the pies be looking so fresh and good. Man, I'm telling y'all know what y'all missing out on Streets Market, honey. Y'all gotta go there.
Yes. Well, get them to be a sponsor because you just gave them
Okay,
a whole
a whole
commercial.
commercial. All right, y'all. See
All
y'all
right.
Saturday. Bye.